Hi everyone! Welcome back to my craft room. My name's Whitney Lucas. I'm with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots. And today's Facebook Live is on a Christmas antler wreath. I'm going to do a deer themed antler wreath. As you can see, I wore my theme shirt. And we're going to do a lot of blues and a lot of natural blues. I got some, I think this is eucalyptus, not sure, but I got a lot of pretty florals and a lot of good golds to go with. Some gold antlers that I bought. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to come in while I get my tablet up so I can check out your comments. And let's see. Hi Jackie. Hi Teresa. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We got a good little project started. We'll see how long it takes today to go through this guy, but I plan on putting a lot of goodies in this wreath here. So just waiting for this guy to turn on. What do you guys think about the new setup? I got almost all of my craft room done last night. I was up pretty late, and I got a different view for you. I'm facing the camera's facing a wall. I've rearranged this whole room. I got a lot of stuff in another room that will be fixed later. Good morning, or yeah, good afternoon for you, Denise. Hi, it's still good morning for me on the West Coast. So let's see. I haven't turned my tablet on in a while, so I got all this stuff to clear out. I'm excited today. Let's see. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate it. I'm going to try to get a little bit less background, but trying to work out angles right now, it's not working. So we'll just see this one for today. And then I got another quick live or quick video planned for a little tiny door hanger. You guys will see that soon. Might even do it today or tomorrow after work since today's Sunday. Hi, Vicki from Houston. Room looks great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Let me pull this guy up here so I can take a peek at you guys. I'm hoping, and you know what I didn't do? I did not plug in my glue skillet, you guys. I'm sorry. Oh no. That's like the major faux pas. I have no glue to start with. It's a good thing it heats up pretty quick though, so I shouldn't have a problem. I got everything else. I was worried about angles and views and getting my lights turned in. I didn't plug in any of my glue. So the glue gun might take a minute, but I don't even know if I'll use it. Glue skillet should heat up pretty quick. Yeah, that thing's already hot on the bottom, so we shall see. Shouldn't be too bad. I was just excited to get on. And let me get to this guy here so I can pull up comments a little bit better. There we go. South Carolina. Hi, Barbie. Houston, Jackie, Diane. Thanks, guys, for all joining me. I appreciate you being here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my tablet right over here. And then let me make sure you guys have a better view of all of this. It's as far down as I can get this guy. And let me make sure. Well, I got my ringtone all the way up. There we go. So, no more interruptions. Let's start going through my supplies. I pictured this a while back on Instagram, and I asked you guys what you guys wanted, what you wanted to see when it was like a choice of 4 wreaths. This was one of them. So these supplies and all these goodies have been sitting on the floor, honestly, since then. And I wanted to get this one in before the end of the year. I know I probably won't sell it in time. That's fine, because this thing will still be beautiful next year. You guys see most of this stuff in my Etsy shop as soon as I finish it. So I try as much as I can to get things up and listed. So today's antler wreath is going to be blues and golds. So I had some gold. Basically it's because the only reason I picked gold is because I picked gold antlers. If you guys have seen these, actually let me think. Everything here today is from Michael's. Everything I have here is all Michael's. There isn't one piece of anything in here that is Hobby Lobby or anything. This is all Michael's. So I know I was just at Michael's yesterday because apparently I can't stay away from craft stores within the week or within like 3-4 days. So I just was at Michael's yesterday. And you guys, I bought another Christmas tree. I got another pencil. A 7-foot pencil tree. It's going to go out in the front room. I think it's because my Christmas tree I had to buy this year at the last minute unexpectedly. You guys saw that. It feels small. So I'm just going to buy a second little one and stick that one out there. And if for some reason I buy a big one next year if I get a good deal or something like that, or I get ahead of the game next year and I get a larger tree again. I'll probably put that pencil one maybe in my dining room or something, because I already have one in my master bedroom. But I'm going to do this one like turquoise and reds. You guys will see that one. I'll put pictures up as I decorate it. But those pencil trees are super fast and easy to decorate. So I was at Michael's yesterday, and I know that they had everything was 60% off, and then with the app coupon, you got another 20% off your purchase. So that's how I got the tree. Now, the tree didn't qualify for that, but all the decorations did. They still had a few of these antlers left. They didn't have gold ones, but they had some of these left. And then all of their stems, these are considered Christmas. All of these were 70% off. So there's still a chance that you could go maybe scrape together some stuff and still make an antler themed wreath. But I do know that they had the natural antlers at the Michael's by my house where I went yesterday. So there's still an opportunity if you guys need to rush out and go buy something. I know that right now the stores are throwing everything out and everything's all clearanced out, and maybe not the best opportunity, but you can still get some of this stuff. It shouldn't be too hard. So what I did was I picked up gold antlers, and I figured I wanted to do something maybe not red and green, or maybe just not your average Christmas, because most of the time when you see blue, in my experience, it's covered in snowflakes. And that's why I did the snowflake wreath you guys saw before, but I did it in reds, because I like to do something a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. So for this one, I got gold antlers, and I have 4 of them. Now, I've never made an antler wreath, so I don't know if I'm going to put all... I bought 4. I bought 4 of them. So I don't know if I'm going to put all 4 on or not. I plan on it because I plan on putting all 4 on there. I think they're pretty. Plus, they're all facing the same way. So it's not something to where I can put this one the opposite way, because now it's facing behind me. Do you see what I mean? So they all face the same way. They didn't have like left and rights, I guess you could say. They're all the same facing antler. So I'll probably use all 4 of them. And then I got some gold magnolia leaves. These also, like I said, everything was Michael's. Everything was Michael's. I think I saw 1 or 2 of these kind of in the bins all mixed up with all the rest of the stuff yesterday. Oh, I did lie. This is Hobby Lobby. Everything but this is everything else but this is Michael's. This is Hobby Lobby. These little guys are, I don't know, they're little grape leafy kind of things. I used these in that Joy to the World wreath you guys saw. So I had some extra ones left over. I went to Hobby Lobby earlier last week, and all of their stuff had been scooped up together and put towards the front of the store. So there was still a little bit left, but I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know if these are still there. But any kind of gold little extra piece, I just wanted something extra that would break up some of the magnolia leaves and then the gold antlers. Other than that, that's it for gold. I have some ribbon, but there's a chance that I might not use it since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 rolls of ribbon over here that I bought for the project, and I'm not absolutely sure if I'm going to use it all for this project or not. So I'm just going to throw some of these guys up off to the left here. Get some of this out of the way. And my antlers are going to stay on first. I always do greens first. This greenery bush, I like to buy the mixed bushes because they have a lot of options in them. It has a few pine cones in it. You can use those. We might. I'm not sure. When I bought this, I had gotten, I think I got everything about 40% off or 60%, 50% off maybe, because I bought this stuff a while back when Christmas first had come out. So it's a greenery bush. I like these berries. They're a light ivory, almost a cream color, and they have a little bit of gold accent to them. So I thought they would look great in there. And then lastly, I absolutely loved these. They have a bluish tint to them, so the blue that we're going to place in there, I think it's going to make the wreath. So I bought a good amount of these, and these are just little stems at Michael's. This is all they are. But the chances and the opportunity to cut these off, and you'll see how we're going to nestle them in going in the same direction. They're going to look great. So I bought a good amount of these. And then yesterday at the Michael's, when I'd said everything was 70% off, they still had a few of these, so I grabbed a couple more just in case I didn't have enough. You guys, I have too many, so I know I'm going to have enough, but I love it almost looks like eucalyptus, but it has that perfect little blue tint in it that we're going to pull it out, and it's going to look awesome. So I'm going to throw that up here like that. These 3 guys I just bought for flowers, for accent flowers. I have a magnolia with the gold center in there. And then these 2 guys, I'm not sure exactly what you call these, but they have little, they have some beading and glitter, which you guys know how I feel about glitter, but there's some beading on here. and a little bit of sparkle. Nothing has fallen off on my work table too, crazy yet. So I don't believe that anywhere that I hang this, it's gonna, possibly have too much, fallout from glitter and beads. But it's just small little accents on some of the petals, and I thought it was really pretty. Plus, a lot of these little edges, if you can see, they have a little bit of gold mixed in, so it was perfect for the gold and blue theme. So I bought one magnolia, and then I got those other 2 flowers. There's my berries and my greenery. So I'm going to keep the greenery, guys, closer because you guys know you always at least want to put the greenery on first. So let me put that to the side. Here is your average, everyday, 24-inch evergreen wreath. Also got at Michael's. They were doing crazy deals. I don't believe they have any left. I went last week. Again, what is today? This is for the YouTube people when you're watching the playback. Today is December 17th, 2017. So I went about a week and a half ago, and they had all of these really clearanced out, I think for... Let's see, it's normally $8. They had them on sale for $6. I got this guy for $4.80. So from $8 to $4, that's a little bit less, a little bit more than 50% off total. And they had no 18-inch wreath left. So if you want to do maybe a little bit smaller than one, you'll have to probably buy them ahead of time. I stocked up on what they had left of the 24-inch wreath, so I have a good amount of them. Because remember, I said before, you guys, you can use these all year long. You can use these for your St. Patty's Day wreaths. You can use them for any wreath you possibly could think of. Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day. Anything that you want to put a theme on, you're using this as your base. You don't necessarily have to buy a work wreath. Those for mesh, those are a little bit, they're not expensive if you're buying them online. It's just you got to wait for the shipping. You got to wait for it to get to you. Not crazy, not a crazy thing, but a little bit more convenient if you have these already. So for $4, I bought a good amount of them because these are going to be used as bases. You'll see me use these. I got 4th of July. I've got Valentine's and St. Patty's Day planned for you guys. I bought some stuff, and I'll be doing an unboxing of my craftoutlet.com order that I got. I just got it received yesterday, so I'm going to put that on live. You guys will see me pop back in later. So the 24-inch wreath, if you see them, grab them because they come in handy for a lot of different things. So that's what we're working with today is a larger base, the 24-inch. Now, it doesn't look like that because it's all smushed from packaging. We're going to fluff it. And here is my tower of ribbon selection. Again, all of this was Michael's. So my main focus was this guy here because I liked the antlers and the deer. So that, to me, tied in really awesomely with the gold antlers that I picked up. And I was like, I haven't done the antler thing. Let's grab antlers. So I got this guy, and then I thought this one looked great with it. These were all together at Michael's when I bought them. Then I grabbed some more blues. I said, why don't we just pull the blue out of here? Because there's a good amount of red. Let's pull the blue out of here and do this. And then just to put a little bit of gold and red in there, I have these two. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. We're going to see how the wreath looks after I get all the greenery and the flowers on it. I might not use it at all. This guy I picked up at Costco. I do not know if I'm going to use it because I already have enough blue. But this guy I just put off to the side. I'm going to keep him close to us just in case I want to throw some more blue in it. But we're going to take a look after we get all the greenery in. So there's these guys. So here is... Couldn't do that twice if I tried, huh? Here is the lineup of ribbon for this wreath, you guys. There's the ribbon lineup. So we got lots of blues, lots of natural colors, lots of good little... lots of good options for blues and rustic and keeping it with the antler theme. So let's see. You guys got any questions so far? First time catching you live. Thank you, Lita. It's so nice to have you. And Diane, you got married in blue and gold, so you love the color combo. That works out really good. And Merry Christmas from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad to have you. Barbie, you like the ribbons. Good, good, good. Because that's part of the inspiration was the antler and the ribbons. And the rest of it I went digging for at the store. So here I'm going to take the tag off and we're going to start fluffing this guy. A lot of times fluffing these don't really take very long, and if you it's going to start looking like it's got big gaps in it. But most of the time that really shouldn't matter because you're going to fill it with all kinds of goodies and florals and stuff like that. That's part of the purpose of doing all this. So I got the tag off, and all I'm doing is I'm just feeling where these originate from. A lot of stuff gets messed up, especially when it's sitting in those bins. People are digging with it and smushing it. Or if you look, it looks like it just came out of the box and they're all stacked together. They have the perfect nestle ring, like they've all been nestled together from being shipped. So all I'm doing is pulling out all these pieces, kind of making them stick straight out or left, right, up, and down. Either which way, just kind of pulling them up into their original position. A lot of them end up being pushed like pushed flat down or spread out. So all I'm doing is pulling on the ends of them and kind of finding out where they originate from the rings on the back, and I just pull them out forward in front of me. And Sylvia, even your shirt matches your craft. Yeah, I may have done this on purpose. I like to do stuff like that. I had already bought the supplies for this when I originally put this in one of those options when I was asking you guys to vote which wreath you wanted to see. And I saw this on a website. And one of the websites I saw it on, they had sold out of it. And then I was like, okay, well, it's just not going to happen. That's fine. And then another website that I follow had the same shirt in. And I was like, oh my gosh, so I ordered it immediately. And I was like, well, if I ever do a Facebook, I mean, obviously I'm not going to only wear it for Facebook, but if I do a Facebook Live with the wreath antlers, I have to wear the same shirt. I have to honestly say it has a little bit bigger of a cutout in the front than I had planned. Looked a little bit different online than it does on me, but it works out okay. Just not... Still like the deer in the antlers. It's very, very cute. It's also extremely popular this year with all the different options and stuff that was coming out. It's kind of like the turquoise and orange at Christmas, or at Thanksgiving. That was huge this year. These buffalo plaid, and then anything with deer and antlers on it was crazy popular. I say was because, I mean, obviously Christmas is so close to us right now. We're only about a week, what, a week and a half almost. Well, I think it's less than 10 days now. I think we're at 9 days away. It feels like it's over. There's the stores are bringing out spring and summer, and I haven't seen much for Valentine's or St. Patty's Day yet, but that stuff doesn't ever take over stores like Christmas does. Christmas and Thanksgiving. Oh, and Halloween too. Halloween's a good one. You guys, that one always is a big one. At least not at Hobby Lobby, but other stores. Michael's and all that stuff. It's always a great access, or a great option to get lots of decoration supplies, wreath supplies, all kinds of decor and crafting goodies. Some of these ends on this guy's a little short. This must be one of the ones that was made, because I've got a lot of short pieces right here, which usually to make the wreath full, it's just a little odd. But then again, they're all made in a big machine, assembly machine, so this one seems a little weird, but we're gonna fill this one in a lot with those eucalyptus leaves. I'm a little excited about that to see how it turns out. I was looking for like blue berries, blue other things, and there wasn't that much to accent with blue. So if you can't find exactly what you want, then your secondary color, go with that. So I got as many of those eucalyptus bushes as I could, just so that I could keep that blue hue in. And the eucalyptus doesn't really have blue on it that much, but that type of green leans more towards blue, if you guys know what I mean. And I'm gonna, it'll pop. I'm pretty sure it's gonna pop, because we're gonna have a lot of evergreen behind it. And I'm not gonna use too much. Like normally I would use a ficus branch. You guys have seen me use that a lot in different things to get like texture, more greens that you can place into an item. Just, you know, varying types of greenery, whether it's even just a different type of evergreen or a different type of Christmas tree type bush type thing. But I'm not going to stick with that. I'm going to let the evergreen do most of the greenery. And then remember, I have this little small greenery bush. I'm going to put a few of those things in. But the main event is going to be a lot of those eucalyptus leaves. But if you don't have those, then yeah, go with the green base. Go with any kind of greenery you can possibly think. Most people don't think ficus would look good. There's fern. You can use fern, ficus. Just stick all kinds of greenery in there that you think might complement it, just to give it texture. And then even you're going to cover most of it up, but you'll see pieces and little hints of it sticking out in places, and it'll make your project go the way you want. And then here, I got this guy pretty much how I want him fluffed out. Now, when you store this, it's gonna, you know, things are gonna get smushed around. It's a wire wreath, but after we glue everything in, you're gonna have minimal amount of yearly fluffing. The way I store my wreaths is I just hang them on the wall in my garage. So it gets a little hot out here in the desert, but I've never had anything, over the course of many years, I've never had anything melt or fall apart in my garage. Again, if you guys don't know, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it gets pretty hot in the garage. You don't really want to put candles out there, but none of my wreaths that I store, I literally just put a nail in the wall, or if they will fit in a wreath box, put it in a wreath box. But if it doesn't fit in a wreath box, I put a nail in the wall and I hang them on the wall. And I haven't had an issue yet with dust or anything. Usually I take a canned air every year, like yearly when I go to pull out whatever themed wreath I'm putting on my door, can air, and it's fine. So there's not really much fluffing. If you don't have that available, put a little bag around it and kind of lay it somewhere, maybe on top of your Christmas bins. But after you glue everything in and your bow is on there, there's going to be minimal fluffing because we're putting so much, we're going to put a lot of little greens and things in there to where it won't really make a huge difference. So let me check out here. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for sharing. I always forget to ask you guys if you would share this video. It helps me get a little bit more notice out there. It helps me grow my page and keep this thing going. The more I get noticed, the more I can do for you guys. So thank you, Sylvia. I appreciate that so much. And Louise from Kentucky. Oh, I would love to be on Everyday Louise. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. I would really love to do this on the regular. So the more you guys do that and the better it gets, I can get my YouTube channel to grow. There's a very high likelihood that this maybe become my everyday full-time, because that's basically the goal. I want to do this every day. This stuff is, you know, this is the stuff that makes you happy, then by all means continue it. So here, my greenery bush, all different stuff. I'm just going to start pulling things out. And then, depending on how this thing is put together, if you're not familiar with it, you can see here that they've wired this piece on to the major bush. I cut that off of here. They wired this piece on here. I'm going to cut this off, and then I just have the piece as it normally would lie there. Actually, I'm just going to cut that off here, and then I'll see if I can pull it out. A lot of times, if you're not familiar with it, if you're kind of a new crafter, and you don't really know how to rip things apart, there's always a way. If you just take a peek at the construction a little bit closer, you can find out exactly how some of this stuff was made. And then you'll become shocked that it's made so lightly, and then stuff doesn't fall apart. So now I have this guy, independent of the bush. He's going to look really super, it's a really good piece of texture. I think this is supposed to be maybe like a faux juniper. You see that, you guys? I think maybe a faux juniper bush. I'm not sure. This is such a mixed item, but I love it. I loved every little piece of it. So we're just going to push these things in, and this is all to give it texture. And also the best time of year to buy these, also Christmas for other projects. Remember I said, don't ever look at things as just for the holiday that they're selling it to you for. Because throughout the year, just the regular greenery aisle on both of the major craft stores here, Hobby Lobby's greenery does go on sale. But Michael's and Joann's, their greenery usually doesn't go on sale very often. So if you're able to grab it at Christmas time, now granted it might be pine, but oh, Roseanne, you're putting your tree up. That's so awesome. I bought another tree. I don't know if you guys caught that earlier, because I bought another Christmas tree, so I'm gonna be putting up another pencil tree in my front room. So that's kind of awesome, Roseanne. The greenery you buy, it might be, you know, evergreen based, but you can find some stuff that's not always necessarily Christmas themed, and then save it for any other project that you might do. They have this cute little guy. It's got a little bit of green paint on him. They had him wired to the bush with this, so just undid the wire, and we may be able to nestle this guy into the wreath too. So it's just a little bit of deconstruction. And then, oh, cute find. These were in my front yard. I don't have a pine tree. There's a pine tree way down the block in my neighborhood, but look how cute they are. They're perfect. They're just like the perfect little... So they were calling to me in my front yard, and I grabbed them, and they will be put in something. But I just thought they were pretty awesome. Now, my mom, I grew up probably about 15 minutes from where I live right now. And my mom has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 pine trees, but they're humongous. They're at least, oh gee, I don't even know how to guesstimate, 30 feet tall. They're huge. They're massive. They've been there since before I was born, so they're more than 37 years old. They're crazy huge bushes, and I used to go collecting at her house all the time for all my decorating needs, because I will just take pine cones and place them in garlands on my mantle, or I like to put them in a big basket underneath the Christmas tree, just as decoration. So there was a point when I had my shower, the bottom of my shower filled up with pine cones, and my husband walks in. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Are you washing pine cones?" I was like, "Yeah, they need to shower too." He thought I lost my marbles, and I was like, "Yeah, let me explain to you what I'm doing. Yes, I'm washing pine cones because there's probably bugs and dirt and goo and gross stuff in it. And then after that, then I'm going to bake them, because I didn't want to put dirty pine cones in my oven. You know, has anybody ever cleaned anything like any pine cones? Have you guys ever had to do that for a project? You get them from outside in the parking lots, or, you know, I've been to commercial office buildings because they had some major pine cones. And basically, if you live somewhere where you have some crazy ones, but this is the type of pine cone that I get here in Vegas. You don't really see any of the other weird pine cones, at least down here in the city. I haven't been up to Mount Charleston in a while, but has anybody else, have you guys like collected them up and cleaned them and baked them to get them, you know, make sure all the bugs and stuff is cleaned? I did that the one year, and again, my husband thought I'd lost my marbles. I was washing all the pine cones in our shower. I just didn't want that in my sink. So, you know, there's a method to my madness, I always say, at some point. So I think I got a good amount of green here. So next step is, you guys, let's see, for the base here, I'm going to put these guys off to the side so you can have a little bit better of a view. Now again, if you guys can't see something, I might need to change my camera angle for the next video, because again, I'm still getting used to the new setup in the craft room, but I'm gonna work at it. I just want to be able to show you guys things close up. So if I put the camera too far away, it's going to be up to you guys to tell me what you guys really like. So for now, I'm going to keep with the same format, kind of diagonal, but I want to make sure you guys can see exactly what we're doing here on the table. So you can actually see my skillet now. So here's my glue skillet. It's a little tiny baby glue skillet. And then I've got my antlers. We'll put those on next. Little supplies all in this little twirly guy. So you guys can kind of see some of my behind the scenes you didn't see before. So glue skillet's off to my right, since I'm right-handed. I'm going to just try and nestle these in here, and then I'm going to pick a direction that I want to go. So if I'm going to go that way, then I really need to keep things... Pick a direction, whether you want to go up, down, left, or right, but whichever direction you pick, stick with that direction so that everything kind of looks like it's sort of keeping into that theme. Now this guy here, I've got 2 on there. After I placed it in, this piece got a little bit hidden, so I'm just going to cut it off. Alright. So now I've got the 2 pieces, and this is going to be able to just kind of accent off to the left or right, closer to the top somewhere. So that's really all I'm doing here, is I'm placing things, those 2 here, just into the greenery. And you might not see anything just yet, but these accent pieces are just going to give your wreath a little bit more life, a little bit more texture, right? So there isn't going to be a pattern or a rhyme or reason, so I'm just going to place things in my glue skillet. I'm going to get a little bit of glue on the end of it here. And then if you can see there's the glue, it's kind of coming off, and I'm going to nestle that right back into where I had it. And then at that point, you've got enough stuff, you got enough glue at the base, you're creating your texture towards the top of your piece. Let's see, I'll put that one down there. Also, it's going to come down to how much extra do you want in your piece. Does it have to be full? No, it doesn't have to be. It can be as much greenery as you feel you need to put in. Stop there. I like a lot of texture. And a lot of times towards the end of your project, when you're almost done and you're looking back at it, you might not see the evergreen base in it at all. You might not even notice that that you started with an evergreen form or frame. Oh, okay, so Sally does, okay, so she cuts a wire hanger, makes an S-shaped hook from both ends, and then you buy a large plastic bag from the dry cleaners, hang them on the hook, split the bag, and drape it around. That's actually pretty awesome. That's a good idea, Sally. And then into your rafters. That's true. Yes, I have a finished garage, so I don't have rafters, because I would have loved to have that extra little piece in there, because there's some of the my garage has got finished walls and a finished ceiling. So I actually bought metal storage racks, those like big racks. You can actually hang off of them. They put them into the beams and the stuff in the ceiling, and that's usually where all my Christmas bins and decorations for fall, Christmas, Halloween, all that goes into the ceiling. Which I can do S hooks. Now I think about it, I can hook S hooks into those pieces and have them hang off of that too. I got a lot of wreaths hanging on the wall in my garage. Just a 2-car garage. It's nothing like crazy fancy or anything. And my husband isn't like a big like tool guy. He's a computer guy. He does a lot of stuff with electronics and computers and wiring and stuff like that. So it's not like he's got like a big shop or anything out there. So we share the space. He has his tools, but it's not a crazy tool. Like some of those crazy tool guys, I say crazy tool guys, and I'm sure they say crazy craft people. Some of those crazy tool guys don't want to share their spaces. But my husband has his own computer room. Now I've got 2 craft rooms. You guys know that now from my Facebook page. And it wasn't, again, it didn't always mean to have 2 craft rooms. And it sort of bothers me a little bit that it's moved into a second room. But we honestly weren't using that extra room. I thought I would keep it for like an extra, like a guest bedroom or anything, but we really don't have guests. So it hasn't become an issue. And again, the more that you guys share, give me likes and hearts and comments and all that good stuff, the more I get that, the more I can continue that second room and then grow my Etsy shop with your guys' help. So every time you show up and you guys tell me how much you love what I'm doing, it helps me, it makes it easier for me to continue doing it. And, every once in a while I'll get a little bit of feedback that tells me to, X, Y, and Z. I'm not gonna feed into it, but every once in a while. So then I really get really good, awesome comments that you guys really like what I'm doing, and then I help you, and then that's probably the best part of it, is that someone will let me know that they learned something and that they're actually starting to get back into crafting, or that they hadn't ever thought of doing something a certain way, and then you guys will share with me other things that I would have never thought of, and then together we're all sharing our crafty stuff, all of our crafty thoughts. That's the best part of it. We all learn from each other. So the more I can do this, the more that second bedroom turning into a craft room won't bother me so much. All right, so here, I don't know if you guys can tell, this is just added, I just added the extra greenery to it. So you can kind of see some of those green colors pop, they're different. You can tell here, especially like this guy here, this extra lime green kind of pops. Gives it a little bit more color, shows you a little bit more texture in the wreath than you would have normally had. So here's where we're going to just take a couple of these. Now I bought, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. I bought 8 of them, and I honestly do not think we're going to use all 8, but I'm not going to make any promises because I'm sure it might look phenomenal with all 8. So let's just start cutting them off and see how far it goes. So it looks here like one stem. So they're going to be a little bit long, and that's okay. Remember, save these, you guys. They come in handy. One stem. See, they're kind of long after you cut them all off. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get five basically little, I turned one stem into picks, so I get 5 picks, you could say, out of one stem. So that's not too bad. Sometimes you only get 2. So 5 picks out of one stem, not so bad. So here is just where I'm going to try and nestle these guys in and see how far, or see where it gets me as far as just the 5. Now see, I got some really long ones, but since this is wired, I can kind of curve that with my fingers and make that curve with the wreath as I'm placing it in. I'm going to turn my glue skillet up just a little bit. I don't want it to start smoking. Start placing that in here. These longer pieces are going to look great too. It's going to kind of stick out and give your wreath a little bit more, more depth. Okay, see how much that covers? That's just one stem. And all I did was place those in there. So we've got one of these, turns into 5 picks, cut all them off, and then nestle them in. So a 5 picks has pretty much covered a good amount of this wreath. So I'm going to cut probably, there's 1, 2, 3. I'm probably going to do 4, but if we need more, we can always cut them and place them in different spots. Might leave a little bit of a space for where I'm going to place my bow. I'm going to put my bow probably right here, because I got a little bit of a dark spot here. I'm going to probably put my bow somewhere in here. But don't ever try to pay attention to that, because your bow, I don't like to say it's less important, but your bow is going to cover up things, and I had a big problem with that in the beginning. I didn't want to cover up some of the nice, pretty stuff that you paid a little bit of money for. Main event's going to be the antlers, and it's going to be these pretty big, those big flowers that I bought, you know, these larger flowers. So just place this stuff in without without too much concern, if that helps. I mean, I know it might take some time and you might worry about it, but there really isn't a wrong way to do it, in my opinion. I mean, even if you don't pick a pattern or a clockwise or counterclockwise way to go, if you put them in all crazy, upside down, left, right, up, and right, it's still going to be beautiful by the time you're done, because you're not, either you have a pattern or you don't have a pattern. It doesn't, I don't think it affects things, but sometimes if you're thinking maybe, oh, my wreath, something's just not right in your own opinion, try going with a pattern or a direction. Pick a direction, stick to it, and then see how things turn out. And then also, don't glue anything in. Just place all of your stuff in and see if you like it. Then you don't have to worry about like compromising your base if you don't want to worry about having to pull stuff out with, you know, pull the stuff you've glued in out. Because sometimes if you've done a really good job of gluing this stuff in, yeah, you're not going to get it back out, at least not without, you know, wire cutters and a little bit of a headache, or a lot of bit of a headache. So I mean, five picks out of 1, and these leaves are actually kind of soft. I've had a few fall off. These leaves on this pick here, I don't know if you guys can tell, still artificial, but it's still very good quality. Like, these leaves are very soft to the touch, and they lend just a little bit of almost like a faux velvet. They're really pretty. They're really pretty in person. I set up another, both of my lights here, so hopefully you guys can see more of the details and textures, because I know the pictures, I can put up pictures, but it's just not the same in person, if you guys have ever noticed. A lot of the time it's just not the same when you're looking at it online, or the camera doesn't capture exactly what you mean, but never comes across with, I feel, it doesn't ever come across as vibrant as it really is. And sometimes they're hard to picture too. I really wanted to show you guys my door frame swags in my bathroom, but because there's a huge mirror in there, I could not set up my lights and get a good picture to show you guys in a decent way how awesome those turned out for my bathroom mirror. They are so beautiful, and if I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, because I usually am my own worst critic, but they turned out so stinking pretty. It's just amazing. It's amazing that it turned out so well. I hadn't planned on it looking that good, honestly. I really hadn't. I just thought, well, you know what? I'm going to make these for the door frame, but I want to see if they're going to look good on my mirror. And I was like, well, maybe, you know, they're going to show, you're going to see the back of it on the mirror. You don't see anything. You can't see it because of how full they are. You don't see the little, I hung them on my mirror with a command hook, and you can't see the command hook at all. Let's see. Nancy. These leaves, they look like eucalyptus to me, but they're not circles. I bought them at Michael's. They still have a few left, but it doesn't tell me what they are. It just says Christmas Noel stem by Ashland. You can see here. That's all it says that they are. But they look, and they have a look and a feel like eucalyptus. They're very soft, but I don't honestly know what they're called. And they still, at the Michael's I went to by my house yesterday, they still had a very decent amount of those left in stock. And since they were 70% off, you guys know I grabbed some more. Because I don't have enough, apparently. That was the memo I got when I saw the 70% off sign. Because I also had an additional 20% off coupon on my phone. At that moment right then and there, I knew I had to buy more. Yeah, sorry guys. I tell my own jokes. I'm self-entertained. So these guys are giving me more blue. I'm actually very happy with how these are turning out. And I'm pretty sure you don't have to find this type of leaf. Any kind of, I'm gonna say elongated. There's that, you know, the word I'm trying to say, you guys, elongated. Any kind of stem that has these longer pieces that come off of it here. We're going to take these longer pieces, and it creates that depth. Don't worry if it sticks straight up or it sticks out. You want it to. You see what I mean? This is pretty much how we're turning out halfway through. And I've got pieces coming out. I got pieces coming out here and here. And this one's kind of sticking up this way towards the top of the wreath here. You see this is when it's laying flat. You want that. You want it to look that way. It's making the wreath dimensional. It's pretty. And you guys, I have not taken any kind of classes. I'm not trained in anything. It's just what you think looks good. So just go with what you think looks good, and in the end, you'll be happy. It doesn't have to be any specific kind of order. Because remember, everyone's taste is different as well. I mean, you always can't worry about what other people think, because if it makes you happy, stick with it. I've made a few wreaths that a couple friends have said, well, it's beautiful, but it's not my style. That, to me, is a compliment as well, because you still think it's pretty. Not your style. You wouldn't place it in your home. I'm okay with that. See, my home is mostly rustic, more farmhouse, which I hadn't planned on it being that way. It just sort of happened, which, again, is okay. My very first place I ever had in my 20s, everything was black and gray. It was like super modern. But I think that's part of being young. Or it was also what was popular and affordable at the time. We're talking about, like, you know, I was in my 20s in the year 2000. So at that time you could get all kinds of stuff. Lots of particle wood furniture. Nothing wrong with that either. All my bookcases are particle wood. I'm just saying, everything was black and gray, black and gray, black and gray. A lot of steel and stuff like that. And you can still soften that up with flowers and the right kinds of ribbon. There's all kinds of really pretty gray ribbons and stuff like that. I'm just saying, my style has changed so much in these last years that some of the more modern stuff wouldn't go in my decor, but doesn't mean I can't say that it's beautiful and that I love it. Or that it looks great for someone else. That's part of being a designer, right? You can make anything work for whatever your client is interested in. So if somebody wants farmhouse, well, sure, it's going to be a little bit easier for me to do because I know and I love farmhouse, but if they want something a little bit different, maybe, should be able to do it with an open mind, right? I'm kind of just mumbling, you guys. Let me know if I'm making any sense. Sally, you need to, on second thought, maybe it's good that I don't. 80 miles from the nearest Hobby Lobby. Oh, I feel your pain. And also, Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? So it's like, yes, I really wish I was closer, but then maybe I don't want to be closer because I've said that before. Especially my coworkers know when I sit there, like, where you, if I get ready to go to lunch and I grab my purse, they know that I'm going to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or Joann's because I work at my job. There's a Michael's that I could literally walk across the street to from my building where I work. And then Hobby Lobby and Joann's are just up the street over the freeway and to the right. So on my lunch hour, if I grab my purse and I'm going out, yeah, they know I'm going to a craft store. May or may not be a good thing. And lately within all this stuff, especially at the holidays, and now that I know everything's going on clearance, I've been at those stores pretty much weekly. And that's, again, Sally, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So it's, you know, I would err more on I'm glad that I live near them and I'm blessed to be in. As much as I say I want to move out of Las Vegas, it's the convenience and the things that I say I don't like anymore. I'm really used to, and a lot of people don't get that. But I still would love to live in a smaller community. Then again, I need to probably experience that on my own before I make that assumption. But yeah, I don't have to worry about not being near a major craft store. But there's also, I mean, sometimes the shopping for the smaller picks and things, that's fun because you can't really get those too much online. I've had problems finding smaller little picks and things like these guys here. I don't know that I'd be able to find them online, and then I want to look at them up close. I want to hold them and see what they're made out of. So I understand. I get it. All right, guys. I only put in, how many did I use? I only used 3. Let me see how many tags I have. Okay, I only used 3, you guys. What do you think? I only used 3 of those. And I'm thinking it's doing a really good job of adding that little bit of extra blue, but I think maybe I should I could put 2 more in. I'll wait and see what it looks like once we get closer to our end result. And I'm looking back here, I got a few of these pieces you can see sticking through with the glue on it, but I don't think it's earth-shattering, so I'm just going to leave them. Here, I'll show you. On the back here, you can see right here where my fingers, you can't. See right here where my finger is? You can see the end of that pick sticking through and it's got glue on it. It's not crazy apparent. Only reason I know of it is because my hand touched it when I was holding it, but for now I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it, and if worst case scenario, I'll put like a leaf or something on the back of it to cover it, because I don't want to cut it off because it still has glue on it and it's attached. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put my bow on. Let's see, Sylvia, you're 5 minutes from a Dollar Tree and about 15 minutes from a Michael's. Yeah, Dollar Tree also dangerous, although. Dollar Tree shouldn't be dangerous, right? Because everything's $1. But yeah, I've filled that cart up before and said, well, how many things? Okay, all right, yeah, I earned it. I own it. Very small town, Michelle. But about 30 minutes away from all of the stores. See, that would be probably my pick. You're in a small town, but then you're only half an hour away from where you really want to go. So you have to really plan. Do I want to spend half an hour in a car? So it's an hour drive. I think that would be good. Louise, thank you, says, looks awesome. Can't ever get in on sales, Sally. Invariably, when I'm there, the things I want were on sale the week before. Oh, so you must be talking about Hobby Lobby, right? Hobby Lobby does every other week on some of their florals and things. But yeah, those apps for Michael's and Joann's, usually for Joann's, I don't ever go unless my app tells me there's a sale. So for Joann's, that's one of the ones that I'll go if I have a crazy good app coupon, or I see that something is on sale, or I need yarn. For some reason, I really like to go to Joann's for yarn. They have a huge yarn aisle, and it looks great, and I get all these different, they have a huge color selection of yarn. Michael's is decent for yarn, but I for some reason, Joann's is my favorite to go to if I have a big project I'm going to make yarn out of. That one is like my first choice for that. So I'm going to do my bow next, because I want to place those antlers in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go between the antlers and the flowers. So my next step is I'm going to put the bow in now, because I want to make sure that I have placement correctly. I want the bow to still be a good focal point, but I also want it to not be too in the way for when we're placing all these antlers in. So these are all brand new rolls. I'm just going to pull off the cellophane on them and then kind of get them all ready on the one sides. So just open them all up, because once you get your hands full of these ribbons, you want to just make sure that you can just grab them. So that means open these all up. I'm going to open up these two also just because, I don't know how many I'm going to use. I don't think I'm going to use them all, but I do need some 1.5 because these are all 2.5 inch ribbons. So I may just use these all and try to do something where we'll do like one large bow, and then I'll do like just a one loop accent somewhere else on the wreath. I'll show you guys that before. It's like, the pattern of your bow really is going to depend on how much ribbon you want. Do you want it to have a lot of ribbon? Do you want it to have a lot of tails? Do you want it to look like the ribbon is just exploding from your project? Or do you just want maybe just a little bit of an accent? You don't want like a crazy amount off of the sides or in the middle. I love ribbon, but I also love flowers. I mean, it's all a personal preference and how you feel that day. I haven't really thought about how I want this bow to look. When I did the other wreath, I didn't do it on a video or a Facebook Live, but it's the Joy to the World wreath I have. It's an evergreen base. It's got deco mesh ribbon in it. It doesn't have any mesh throughout the wreath. It's just deco mesh ribbon that I bought. So the ribbon's like about that wide. That one, I actually placed the ribbon coming down on each side. So I put a streamer in the middle. By itself, I just cut a long piece, put it in the middle, tied it with the evergreen, and then made my big pieces kind of drop into the wreath. There's that style. That turned out really well for me. It's sort of almost like the same style format that I did on the door frame swags. The ribbons or the tails of your project aren't connected to your bow, and that's the easiest way to do it, because to try to hold all that together and get your perfect placement, nightmare. So all I did was dovetail the ends of all of these. If you guys can see, I just opened every roll and I cut them. So I'm already ready to go for whenever I'm ready to grab this. I'm going to grab each one, and the end is already cut to where I want it to be. If you find at the end that you've made your bow and your tail on one side is too longer than the other, or you want it to be a little bit shorter, vice versa, whatever works, don't worry about it, just cut it again. I personally like to start things off with them already being dovetailed on one end, because for me personally, that's what works as far as me visualizing how long I want each tail. But there again, there is no, there's no right or wrong way. It's what everybody's preference is. It's how you feel and how things are going to work for you. I have a couple chenille stems or pipe cleaners, whatever you call them. Go with that. These are going to be the middle. These are just what I use to secure the bow in the middle. So I got one for the big bow and then one for the little tiny loop I'm going to put off to one side. And then for that, I think I'll probably put this pine cone in it. Remember, this guy came off of my greenery bush that I cut at first. So my back ribbons I'm going to use as accent ribbons. Remember, I want this ribbon to be my focal point. This is my main event. So I might do 4 loops on this. But these guys I'm only going to be doing 2 loops on. So for these bows, the best way to tell you, I call them sloppy bows or lazy bows, whatever works for you. It's all beautiful. I do them by hand. Now I have a pro bow over here. You can kind of see it a little bit. That one you could do maybe if you want your bow to be just grand and beautiful and big. And I've only used it a few times, but the times I've used it, those bows are amazing. And if you guys want, just let me know. I can do like a separate video of just using the pro bow. If it helps, if anybody has one and you guys want more like step-by-step up close, I can get the camera face down and you guys can see just exactly what I'm doing on it. You guys let me know. And all I'm doing is I'm going to guess that I want pretty short tails. I don't really need long anything popping out through this because I'm going to have a lot going on with all these extra, pieces coming out. So my tails here, if you guys need a reference, I got 1, 2, 4. This is about 4.5 inch tail, I really just guesstimate. I pick them out, I look at it and eyeball it. And then again, I do the same thing with the loop. I eyeball this loop. So if you want to know for sure, there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 inches between this pinch and this hand. So when I'm putting them together, that makes it about a 5-inch loop. And to me, I think that's going to look great on the wreath. If you're not sure, hold your wreath and with your loop here and kind of nestle it in and see if that's how you want it to look. I honestly think if I push this and I really nestle it into the wreath, I think that's a perfect size. So you'll get familiar. If you're not a bow maker, if you're not normally a wreath maker, you'll get familiar with it. It'll start to just be second nature. It'll be muscle memory. You'll just grab things and you'll just start looping and pinching, and that bow will come to life for every project. And it looks like here I have to pay attention because I was talking to you guys. This is one-sided ribbon. See, this is the front, has a little bit of a detail here, and then this is the back, whereas it's different. Technically, you could say it doesn't have a front or a back, but I think this particular side looks prettier than this side. So I'm going to continue to use this as what they intended as it to be the front. So I'm going to twist that so that it faces me, make the second loop, and I'm guessing with just my eyes. I've already made this one. I'm going to make this one about just as long. And again, if you're not a bow maker or you're not very confident in it, don't worry about if they're off a little bit. Nothing is supposed to be perfect. There's only a few things that are perfect. Well, actually, there's only one thing that is perfect, and y'all know who that is. But butterflies are about the only thing that is identical on each side. I'm going to cut this tail just a tiny bit longer than the other one here, if you can see that. So I'll put a little dovetail in that at the end because I have to continue to hold this one. So I'm done with this ribbon. I'm going to stick them off to the side over here. Next one up is my plaid blue. Same thing, I'm just going to do this, but I'm going to start on the other side. So for this one, I started with this tail facing me or going down. So I'm going to start with this tail going up on this side. And that's just another preference type issue. This one does also have a front and a back because of this little fur edge. The fur edge is not on the back, but it's on the front. So this is another thing where you have to pinch and then twist it to get it to shape. And then pull more. Bring it to you, pinch it, and just twist it again. It's all about pinch and twist. I had ribbon scissors somewhere. Here they go. I keep separate scissors for my ribbons. And let's see what else we got. Okay, Sally, you do want to see a pro bow tutorial. Definitely, not a problem. I will do that. I will definitely do that. I got some burlap bows I need to make pretty soon. Or burlap ribbon bows. It's all wired ribbon, so make sure you have wired ribbon. Although I can use regular ribbon without wires on the pro bow too. It's not a preference. Wired ribbon is obviously more of what you would want to use, but I've got all of it. I can do a couple different bows. Just a video of nothing but bows. I could do that, you guys. I'll definitely do that for you. At least, okay, Sally, you want it? I will make that happen. Okay, guys, my main ribbon here. I think what I might do is I might put this gold 1.5 inch in here in between so that it's kind of popping out. Now after I get all this put together, now this is going to be a lot of ribbon to hold. This obviously might be a better scene on a pro bow since if you're having problems holding it. So my hands are getting a little tired holding this, and I still have 3 more ribbons to go. But I'm going to put this 1.5 inch ribbon here in between because this is going to go on top, and after I have it all together and I stick it down in the wreath, we're going to be able to tug on it left and right and get it kind of situated how you want the bows to kind of complement each other. So that's how we're going to do that. I'm just going to place a couple of these loops here. And then I'm going to cut that off. Again, once we're done with the bow, we're going to have one side on each of these that we're going to have to finish. Now see, this is getting to be a little bit too much to hold, so I'm just going to squish it down into my thumb and forefinger. I'm using my whole hand to hold it now, just because it's a lot of ribbon, so it's getting harder to hold on to. And actually I'm thinking a zip tie might be better on this because there's so much of it. So I'll show you guys what I mean by a zip tie. Let me Let me grab a zip tie. There's a lot of ribbon here, so I've got a lot of thickness to contend with, and I don't know that my pipe cleaner will then be long enough to take care of everything, and I don't want stuff to kind of slip out of it. So I got this guy at Lowe's. It is a 500 count assorted cable ties. These will come in handy. There's all different kinds in here and different sizes. So that's why I picked this up at Lowe's. I didn't write on here how much I paid for it, but once you break it down, it ends up being 4 cents per zip tie. So if you're worried about cost, again, you're going to have a lot of zip ties. You also don't have to get this big container. You can get little bags. You can get a small bag of zip ties for like $1 or even cheaper than that, like 80 cents. I'm not sure, but this big guy comes in handy for a lot of stuff. Also, my cords and stuff like that, my extension cords and all that comes in handy. It has everything in it, but these little guys here, I bought these separately. These little tiny 4-inch ones, these come in handy for a lot of projects too. But for now, I'm just going to use a smaller zip tie. I'm just going to use this guy once I'm done. And he is about, this is an 8-inch. This is 8 inches long zip tie. So I'll show you guys how I'm going to use that, because I'm going to put this and make this part of my bow and then put my zip tie around it. So I'll show you guys. And I only do that periodically when I have so many ribbons and I have a lot to hold on to, because that zip tie is going to do the work for us once we get this put all together. So here's my larger deer wreath that deer ribbon that I love. So I'm going to make this tail longer than any of the other tails that I made. Let's see. Hi, Vicki. Thanks for joining me. I'm so happy you're here. So here I'm just going to grab these and pinch. Grab and pinch and twist. And I think for this one, I'm probably just going to do 3 loops. If I do 4 loops, it's going to get crazy out of hand with the amount of ribbon. So I'm going to do 3 loops. And then you guys will see what I'm going to do with the tail. Because I'm going to have it on this side with everything while I'm holding it. But then after it's done, I'm going to pull it to the opposite side. And I'll show you guys. You don't always have to have it going in the perfect direction while you're making it. Because it's wired ribbon, so it's super forgiving. So I only did 3 loops of that. Everything else I've done 2 loops. And then now here's my red one with the gold accent in the middle. This one, again, I'm only going to do 2 loops. And this guy's going to go on top. To add just a little bit of red. You know, he pulls the red out of this plaid one, pulls the red out of my deer ribbon that I wanted to be the main event. And cut that out there. And everything as far as my tails were concerned was a guesstimation. So here I've got this huge handful of ribbon. I don't know if you guys can tell. There is a lot of ribbon in my hand here. There's just, it's a crazy amount of ribbon. So where the back of my hand is going to be the back of my bow. Take your zip tie, okay, I'm sorry, your pipe cleaner, and kind of just nestle that back there. And hold on to it as though it's part of that back bow. So I have it going through my hand here. You guys get the idea. That's how I'm putting that in there. And my zip tie, you start with just kind of laying it in front of your thumb here. And then pull it around the back. So you have all the pieces kind of coming together back here. See what I mean here? So now I'm holding it this way. And my thumb on the front is holding the front of that zip tie. So the zip tie now becomes your hands. It's holding it for you. Oh, Vicki, your hand is cramping while you're watching you. Oh, Diane, I'm sorry you're having problems with the feed. Is the video freezing? Because everything's fine on my tablet and my phone. Everybody else let Diane know if you guys are having issues. So here, now I've got my zip tie doing this for me. I'm going to take the zip tie and have it feed in on itself. And then I want the back of this zip tie to be in the back of my ribbon. There's my pipe cleaner. So just keep pulling it. And you can now say it's safe to let go. It's safe to let go. Now remember, if you ever drop anything, you've got your pinch marks to show you where you were holding it previously, because I've dropped things many times. Trust me, this is a lot of ribbon to hold on to. So then just keep pushing and pulling until you can hear that it's not clicking anymore. It's going to be really tight on itself. And this also helps to when you're tugging on these loops and you're tugging on the tails, it's not going to go anywhere. So I keep pulling and tugging, and that's it for this zip tie. It's as tight as it's going to go. So here's the back of it, right? You've got your zip tie or your pipe cleaner. You've pushed into the back of it, and this is what we're going to use to tie it onto the wreath still. And then here's all your back loops. So I'm going to cut. You need to leave some of this on there because depending on the quality or the brand of your zip ties, they could fall apart and pop open, and then that's horrible because I have had that happen before. So I usually cut off a good amount, but I leave a little bit. I leave about that much on. And if some of these zip ties get like a little sharp edge on it, put a little bit of glue on just the top of it. And that's really only for like while you're working with it. After you place this guy, see, I just put a little bit of glue. I don't even know if you guys can even see it. I put a little bit of glue on the tip of that. Oh, and I burnt myself with it. Put a little bit of glue on the tip of that, and I'm just going to let it dry. And that's really only for while you're working with it, because after you cut that plastic with the pipe cleaner, that stuff can really cut you. Never mind being burnt by the glue that you put on there to protect yourself from being injured. But that's probably the best way I've found to protect yourself. Otherwise, try to melt it, which, I mean, hot glue is hot glue. I mean, I don't know what else to... I don't have any other ideas for that, but that's just because sometimes they can get a little bit sharp. I love how I did that, you guys. That was awesome. I put hot glue on the sharp part to not injure myself, cutting my finger, and then burnt myself with the hot glue that I put on there to protect myself from hurting myself. Isn't that great? Gotta love everything being live, right? So awesome, Whitney. All right. Okay, guys. Okay, it's dry now. So I got a good amount of glue on there, and I actually can't feel how sharp that is anymore. So now I'm holding this by the pipe cleaner. So that's my bow, right? Sloppy, doesn't look right. So here is where you can do a little bit of tugging, left and right, up and down. I got 2 on this side. And also, once I get this in the wreath itself, it'll be a little bit easier, but I'm just going to kind of push one left, one right, one up, one down, just to get these things a little bit spread out. And then when I do the Pro Bow video for you guys, since a couple of you guys want to see the Pro Bow, the Pro Bow comes with something called a fluff box. If you're not familiar with the Pro Bow, there's a big heavy box that you get, and it's actually the best thing I have ever, I mean, I would have never thought of this, so that's why I'm definitely happy that I bought a Pro Bow. It has an item called a fluff box, and you can literally tie your bow down to the box itself, and it holds onto it while you tug and twist and move things all around. And it's really helpful because you're not doing it in your project. So if you have a more delicate project that you can't really, tug stuff around on, not to worry, that Pro Bow really comes in handy. It's just an awesome invention. I'm really, really grateful to Regina Sellers for making it and creating it. And it's pretty awesome, especially for anybody that's got arthritis or carpal tunnel. I have had carpal tunnel surgeries on both of my hands. A long while ago. I used to work in the banking industry with money all day, every day, just gobs of money. Not mine, but gobs and gobs of cash, and all for the years of squeezing all of the bundles of money and the cash and the money ruined my hands about, I think, 3 years into my 11 years I spent in banking. So that Pro Bow helps a lot, because even this bow just now, remember I told you guys, after the second round of ribbon, my hand was getting tired. So I had to go from my fingers down into my thumb and finger. But again, you guys will see. I'll definitely do a Pro Bow video for sure. Definitely for sure. Because that'll be a quick little video. I can do that during the week after work. Just hop on real quick with you guys and do a couple bows. Definitely not a problem. So I've kind of spaced these out and pulled the loops as far away from each other as I could possibly get them and how I want them. So now I'm just going to take my wreath and I'm going to kind of look and see, is there a gap somewhere? Is there somewhere that I think the placement of this bow would look better than others? And I think I'm going to place my bow right here. I think I'm going to place this bow right here. I'm going to look to see where my pipe cleaners are. And you're just going to feed this bow right through the top of your wreath. So I'm just going to kind of nestle it in here. And I'm going to pull the pipe cleaner through the back. And this type of wreath has two rails on it. So there's a rail under here and then there's a rail here. I'm going to attach this through the wreath to the top rail on this part here. So since I used a light color pipe cleaner, you can guys kind of see, here's one rail and here's the second rail. It's a little bit underneath it here. I'm definitely going to go with this top rail here. But then I want to see how far I want to kind of pull on this way to nestle this bow deeper into the wreath. And if you just move, like if you put your hands back in behind this and you're going to move the evergreens kind of left and right. And some of the stuff that you've already glued in, that's going to move with it. Never worry about, pushing something the wrong way. You've glued it in. It's hot glue. It's not going to come out. But if it does, worst case scenario, glue it back in. This is the time that you want to see if anything's a little bit too loose. This is the time that you want things to fall off, just in case maybe you missed clipping something that's a little bit more important, or maybe you missed putting enough glue on it. And if you're making this for a gift or for a client, you want to make sure that anything that's going to go wrong does go wrong now. So this is the best time to kind of get in there with your hands and stretch things and move things. So now that I got my bow here, I'm not concerned with what it looks like on the front because we're going to play with it and fluff it and move it all around. So here I'm just going to get this nestled in as close as I possibly can. And then the evergreen is is really your friend as far as the back of this is concerned, because you're going to take things and you're going to use it to kind of hold the bow up, give it a little bit more, not depth, but a little bit more support. You're going to give it some more support on the back. So here's where I just and then I just start twisting. And then I only gave it a few twists, and then I kind of just put that off to the side because I'm not going to finish wrapping that around until I make sure the front of the bow is the way I want it to look. You guys can kind of see here, this isn't by any means a finished bow. It doesn't look right at all. But we've secured it on, and that's as good as we want. We want to make sure all the rest of these goodies kind of peek through on different areas. We're going to do that, but we don't want the bow to fall, but we also don't want the bow to be permanent in case you feel like you need to take it off and move it. So here it's laying it about flat again. I'm kind of moving stuff around. These little stems here are wired and bendable, so I'm going to bend them down a little bit on this side. I'm going to bend this one up a little bit. And then here's where it's your time to just adjust and move things and just kind of play with the ribbon loops to see if you want to loop further up or down or back or right. And because we used a zip tie, you are not actually needing to worry too much about pulling any one loop too hard and then the bow comes out a little bit. It's not going to be a concern because you've got that zip tie on there. So remember I'd said this ribbon here had come off on the same side because I did 2 loops here and 1 loop here. So what you do is you just grab this tail and we're going to pull it up and tug on it kind of to the left. It's not moving in the zip tie, but we're placing it differently inside your bow. So you grab it and you're just going to tug on it, kind of move this loop up and tug on it as much as you can. You're just bending the wire and you're getting the wire to go the direction you want. So now I have my first one still down here. This one's more up towards the top of the bow where I want it. And then that can be the same done for every single tail, tag, or loop. If you don't want it in the placement where it is from when you made the bow, the construction of holding them together, they basically all go up and down like you saw before. You can readjust that to anywhere you want it to go, which is why that fluff box is optional, or is awesome, because you're using your wire to hold it down to the box and you can just tug left and right, and you're doing all the same stuff you're just not doing it on your project. which isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It's up to you, but the next time I do a bow this big, I should definitely probably use the Pro Bow. It's just a lot better for your hands. It helps out a lot more in the long run. So I got these tails down here that kind of aren't showing towards the top of the bow. I'm going to pull it down this way. And so far, I'm pretty happy with all the lengths of all my tails. So I'm just going to go in and dovetail the ends that we didn't finish. So these are all my second ends that we just cut straight while we were making the project. I'm just going in and I'm dovetailing all of those. And that's pinching the ribbon in half and then cutting from the folded edge towards your raw edge, outward. If you're not if you're new to crafting or new to bow making. And let's see, one more. Okay, so there's all that. No rhyme or reason. Remember, guys, I like to place things inside the bows. I like to put ribbons. I like to put stuff. I don't even know. Should I put this in? No, that's too big. I like to place things inside of bows to make bows fluffy and pretty. So far, this is what we're working with. I'm going to put a little second one loop bow. Kind of like, I don't know if I want the bow straight in the middle or if I usually do stuff off to the left or right to make everything kind of asymmetrical. So even if I place this guy this way, I'm usually off to the left. I'll probably put another little small loop bow over here. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So real quick, with the second one here, all I'm doing is a one loop bow. And I'm only going to use a small amount of ribbon. So, I'm definitely going to use should I use the deer one again? I mean, I wanted it to be the focal point of it, so I'm going to use the deer ribbon again. And this one is super easy because you guys, once you figure out how you want this placed, perfect. You're not going to need to worry about making a second edge. We're only going to use one streamer, so we're not going to even need to put a second dovetailed edge on anything. Oh, just cut that one the wrong way, you guys. How many people do that? Been doing dovetailed ribbons for years, and then you cut it the wrong way. I can't be the only one. It's like, you know, on a really good day you're having, then all of a sudden you forget how to spell your name, or you forget how to spell a 3-letter word. And then you have to ask yourself, really, should I be awake right now? Should I be working on something? Should I be driving a car? I can't spell a word. Let's see. Bonnie loves what I'm making. Thank you very much. Stacy Snowflake, that's my sister. Hey, sister. Bonnie, Donna, Diane says hi to Donna. Sylvia says hi to Donna. And Roseanne says so pretty. Thank you so much, guys. So nice. And you guys know each other. That's so awesome. All right, so one loop bow. I'm only going to use 3 of these. So I chose the burlap in blue, my deer ribbon, which I want the most, and then this red with gold. So all I'm doing is I'm going to pick about how long I want this tail to poke out down here at the end. So I'm probably going to leave this one just a little bit longer so that it has room to kind of pop out. So all I'm doing here is I'm going to leave my tail longer, and then I'm going to guess how big I want this loop to be and pinch it and say, is that a good size loop? Sure is. I'm going to cut my ribbon. I'm going to let go. I'm going to cut my ribbon right below that. So you see what I mean? I have one tail. I take the ribbon and I pinch it. That's how I want the loop to go. You're going to let go of it where you pinched it. You can see your pinch mark here. Cut your ribbon just below that pinch mark. See how here's my marks where I pinched it before. If you can kind of see, you can see the little, You can see like the little creases in the ribbon where I pinched it. I cut right below it, and I'm bringing back that pinched piece here and pinching it back. So that's what the back of the bow looks like. That is fine because this is now going into the wreath like this. You're not going to see the back of it. So we're going to do the exact same thing 2 more times. So we have 3 total. So there's that one. We're done. This one I might make a little bit shorter, the tail a little bit shorter. And I'm just, again, I'm measuring it for the one I already have. It's not shorter by a lot, if you can see here. I didn't make a crazy difference in it, but it's just a little bit shorter. Do the same thing, kind of guesstimate the bow loops. Look about the same here. I'm going to let go of where I pinched it and cut just below that mark. Pinch it back together. And here's where I'm going to twist it a little bit and kind of get the loops to like be a little off from each other. And that's what we're working with. And then I'm done. Last one here. Kind of guesstimate. Want this one even shorter, so I'm going to put that there like that. And this red guy, since he's the 2.5 or the 1.5 inch ribbon, he's the thinner and the smaller of the 3. I'm going to place that one right on top. So there's my pinch mark, cutting it just below my pinch mark, pinching it back in front. I'm going to pick that up off of my project and lay it on top. So I already have placement on all these guys here. So here's what I'm holding. I've got the longest tail, middle, and then the short guy on top. And we are going to put our pipe cleaner right through here. Still holding the project, take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around. And the only thing I do at this point is I make sure I have all of these little cut edges are still secure, because we are going to tug on it a little bit. So all my cut edges are secure, and then here's where we're just going to twist. Pull tight and twist. And then here's where you can actually just hold the pipe cleaner and twist your project. I'm holding on to the pipe cleaner here, twisting it. So the wire's twisting towards your ribbon to get that kind of like a really tight, secure piece. And then from there, you can start to twist your pipe cleaners. So this is what it looks like. You've got one tail and one loop on each one that you've made. So what I'll do at this point is, and then you can do this at the end. You can put everything in and then say, okay, well, I want a little bit extra. I just want more ribbon, or I want a little bit extra. You can make 5 or 6 of these. Or you can skip the large bow all completely and just make maybe 4 or 5 of these and loop them together if it's easier, because we did use a lot of ribbon. And that's harder to hold on to. And it's perfectly a-okay. No, there's no one way you guys have to do anything. I've made things where I've literally just used a staple gun and I've stapled loops onto things, and it looks like a crazy good bow. And then you're working with a really beautiful bow, and you really didn't even have to hold the bow and worry about any of that cramping or anything like that. So now here, this is how I'm going to choose it. I'm holding this guy this way. He's up here. I'm probably going to place this one down here on the right. I'm just going to nestle this one down into the bottom right of the bow. Or, sorry, the bottom right of the wreath. So I'm just going to work this guy in between these little pieces I added on here. And then we've got some gold accents to add in here, and the flowers and the antlers. And we're done. So some of this was a little bit more time consuming. That's because I talk a lot, you guys. I heard that that's a hereditary thing. I like to blame my mom for that. But then when we're talking about it, we just keep talking about how much we talk. Okay, guys. So far, so good. I haven't even really arranged this yet. This you can play with later after we place everything in there, but you've got your loops, you've got your preference on how you want this little bit of bow to go. It just adds a little bit more ribbon down at the bottom of your piece, depending on how you want things to look. So I got to bend this piece out. You see how this one's kind of crazy off to the right? We're just going to bend that in a little bit so it kind of curves with your wreath. Alright guys, so I'm going to just kind of play around with this since I've never used antlers before. I don't honestly know if I'm going to use all 4 of them or if I'm just going to use 2. I kind of want to use all 4. We'll see if I can, oh geez. This is one of those stickers that stuck to the price tag stuck to the whole piece of the thing, of the actual stick we have here, but I know I'm going to cut these down, but oh geez, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love that. These are a little bit heavier, so I'm thinking I might even just use a little bit of glue, but I think I'm going to end up, I think I'm going to end up using zip ties, those little 4-inch zip ties, just because I want more, we're going to need more, yeah, I'm going to use all 4, but we're going to need more support. We're going to need a lot more support on these. These are kind of heavy. And I mean by heavy, they're not like crazy heavy where, you know, you have to worry about shipping this thing somewhere, paying extra postage or anything, but it's a decent, these are a decent, yeah, this is a pretty decent heft. They got a little bit of, yeah, I really like them, you guys. I've never used antlers. These are so cute. I love it. Here, I'm just holding these 2 in. Do you see that? Can you see? I mean, they look so great. I think my lights might be drowning out some of the color because this blue I have here doesn't, these eucalyptus leaves don't look so crazy different colored, but yeah, I'm really loving this. So I'm going to, when I get this up, and I'll put the pictures on as soon as we're done with this video, I'll put them up on my Facebook page and the Instagram page if you guys want to see them in different avenues or different places. But yeah, I'm just put the antlers in now, and then I'll have to see where I want to place the flowers. I only have 3 flowers because I wanted the antlers to be the focal point. I want the antlers to be what you're really looking at. All right, guys, I'm going to actually skip glue altogether, and I'm just going to zip tie these in because I don't know that I'm actually going to be able to get the glue exactly where, yeah, there's going to have to be so much glue. Let me see if I can bend this a little bit. Yeah, this can bend. These are wire also, so I'm going to bend this a little bit. Maybe I'll use, okay, I'll put the zip, yeah, I'll use a zip tie onto the wire frame, and then I'll put glue on it on the back. So here's where I'll show you guys those little tiny zip ties from before. These little 4-inch zip ties. I'm going to put them around the project and just zip tie it to the back of the frame. So you just have to follow with your hands where the actual stick is. Now I didn't cut anything off of it either, and I'm going to use it for support. I'm just going to use it for support. Now if you're putting this into an arrangement, then you're going to be placing it into styrofoam. Cut off a little piece you don't need and put some glue on it, and you should be fine because it's facing a different way. This is going to be hanging on a door, and if the door has a little bit of like play in it, or if you notice that your door is being opened and closed, or it's on a door that maybe gets a little bit more tension, so it opens and closes a little bit too much or too hard or too often. You know, if someone accidentally slams that door or the wind catches it, that kind of thing. Okay, that zip tie literally jumped out of my hands. Showing you here. I've got a hold of, okay, that guy fell out. I got a hold of, through the back of this antler here. This antler is going towards, it's going with the top, this is the back rail, this is the top rail here. It's going with the long one, so I've got it secured here, but I have to make sure I'm feeling with my hand that I have it around the front of this piece here. And then feeding it through the back. So all you're doing is, you're not going to be able to really see it too well, but you want to make sure you can feel it with your hands. And these are smaller zip ties. You can use the bigger ones, but these guys are, you know, they're mini but mighty. They do a really good job of holding things together. I've made lots of wreaths with these little tiny zip ties. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to tug on this guy a little bit from the front. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I'm going to bend it a little bit, bend it up a little bit. And then here's where my bow is, but I'm going to kind of twist that off to the right, so I don't really have to worry about that. And we'll fluff that later But yeah, that works out really good. So we're going to need to put some leaves back here to kind of secure things, to make sure they don't move too much. So what I'm going to do now that I got that guy down, I'll show you guys. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to bend this a little bit so it kind of curves with the corner of the, with the wreath. And I'm putting these on the outside rail of a double rail wreath. So I'm going to curve it just a little bit like this. So if you can see now that it has a little bit of a bend in it, and it's just enough to where it's just not straight and it'll stick right through your wreath. So it's just enough. And then just guesstimate with your hand. You can feel, I'm holding the rail on the back here so I can feel with my hand where that piece, this end piece here, is going in, and so I can feel it, and I'm guiding it with my fingers. So then I can say, okay, yeah, I definitely want this guy right up here. Maybe a little bit further down. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to feel him. Holding it. I'm going to bend it a little bit more. Bend it a little more. I've pulled that leaf off. Just bend it a little bit more because I want it to stick out. Okay. So I'm really happy with the placement of this one. Just start zip tying. After you zip tied it, and if you're absolutely happy with the placement of it, shoot some glue all over it with your glue gun. You know what I mean? Anything to secure it down. If you're absolutely loving it and you're committed to that spot, put the glue, put the zip tie in as tight as it'll go, and then throw your dab of glue on there, and you know for sure it won't be going anywhere on you. It's not going to move. So this one, the piece of the actual antler that you can see here, I'm not sure if you can see this piece right here of this brown, that's the antler stem. So I'm taking my zip tie here, and I'm going to put my zip tie around it over here back behind, because you can see it came out on this side of the evergreen, and it's other pieces right here. I'm going to zip tie it, and then when I'm done with this, I'm not going to have you guys watch me do it because it's got to be insanely boring. But I'm going to go through and I'll cover up the back of everything. So I'm going to cut these long pieces off. And then what I'll do is I'll put the hot glue on there and I'll wait for it to dry. And that's just to secure the zip tie and the actual stem piece. So I'll put hot glue on that, wait for it to dry. And then what I'll do is, so you don't see this stuff on the back, and then also you don't want, after you cut these off, you don't want the sharp pieces to like scratch your door or window. I'll put some greenery leaves over this. Anything that comes off of the stems or bushes you're using, I always save those, and you can use them for so many things. So, I mean, even like this little leaf that fell off here, you could always just kind of glue that on the back there to cover up any of your behind the scenes that you don't want anyone to see, and then also protect your door from anything that might scratch it. So now the antlers haven't been glued, but I got 2 of them in there, so you can see that. And then I'm going to follow the same clockwise going this way. So you can also do going around together like this. So one goes down to the left, the other goes down to the right, but I chose the this is actually a counterclockwise pattern that I chose for this particular wreath. So I'm going to stick with that. And nothing says that you can't change your mind halfway through. This is your project. But I'm just going to stick with my first theme. And I'm sorry, because these, it's one or the other. Either Hobby Lobby tags don't come off or the Michaels tags don't come off. They're all a little bit of a nightmare. Don't really want any of that stuff showing. So there's the tags are off. So again, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to lightly bend it to get that curve of the wreath into the stem. And then place that one in here. And then afterwards, again, you can take this and bend it forward more so it kind of sticks up out of the wreath more if you want. There's nothing stating that you need it to be nestled in there too far, or you don't want it too hidden. So I'm going to get 4 more zip ties here, you guys. These are the 4 inch. These are 4-inch little zip ties. But any size zip tie will do because, again, it's not going to show. You're going to use this on the back to secure it in. It's not, there's no specific requirement. It's just whatever you have on hand. I have all kinds of zip ties on hand. Obviously, you guys saw earlier, but I think these little ones will do just fine. Because the antlers, they're not that heavy. They're not that crazy heavy that they're going to fall anywhere. And this one stayed kind of on the outside of the evergreen, so that might actually be the way to go. So I can actually see the stem, or the pick stem on the antler better. So here's this one, turned out really easy. You can see the stem right here, fall on the outside, and I zip tied it right there. And then a second piece here. It's as tight down as it'll go. Actually, oh, I covered up my comments with my ribbon. Hold on, you guys. Okay, very nice. I'm glad I looked at Facebook. Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate you coming in and taking a peek with me today. It's so nice to have you guys here. Donna, you like me talking. Good, because I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I'm very good at that. Let's see. Andrea, very nice. Thank you, Andrea. And Anne, you like my shirt. I originally wanted this off of a website on Facebook called, oh, it was Perfectly Priscilla, but they didn't have it. They ran out and they didn't going to reorder. I found it on Chic Soul. It's CHIC Soul. These are plus size sites, guys. You have to be a plus size girl to get stuff from them. So, you might be out of luck if you're a little bit, on the thin side. But those of us that have a little bit of insulation, Perfectly Priscilla and Chic Soul are where this one came from. Chic Soul, because Perfectly Priscilla had ran out of stock. I didn't catch it in time. So, but thank you for the shirt. I figured I'm doing antlers, so I may have bought this shirt to, stick with the theme a little bit. Not to mention, you can continue to wear this even after Christmas, just because it's cold outside or it's that season. I figured I could still get away with it for a while. But thank you. Let me see. Let's see. Thank you, Anne. That was Anne. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate you guys liking my shirts. I think I'm going to have this guy kind of close to the bow up here. It's going to have to be that way. I don't want it too close to this antler that I already placed, so this one's going to kind of stick up by the bow. And see, a lot of times, you guys, I don't have like a pure plan when I start these wreaths with you. I kind of pick out my supplies and I get them all in a pile, and then I start creating it with you, and it's just, it turns out how it turns out. It's never, I don't know that I actually have I have an idea, of course. Everything starts with an idea. I always have an idea, but try to bend this one a little bit on the end. I have an idea, but I don't know if it ever turns out. That's kind of the scary part of doing these Facebook Lives. I don't really know if things are going to turn out, and I don't know if, what's going to happen. Anything can happen, and it's like, okay, well, either it'll be a horrible fail or it'll be a success. And so far, you guys have all told me everything. You liked everything. I don't think I've had anything I absolutely hate yet. Everything always turns out just a little bit. So here, all 4 antlers are in. Let's see, just getting here, Susan. No problem, Susan. You can catch the playback. I'm going to place it on YouTube, so you can always watch everything on YouTube if you want. And Donna, you like the antlers are going to make it look elegant. Yes, it is. And everything I create is amazing. Thank you, Donna. I love it. I love it when you guys give me that good feedback. All right, so here's the 4 antlers, the 2 bows. I'm going to hang it kind of like this on the wall with a little bit off and on. Now, there's not much gold popping out of it yet, but you can sort of see those antlers. And it's just a hint. I thought I was going to put more of this eucalyptus in, but I don't want to, because I feel like the antlers are getting a little dwarfed. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to definitely put that pine cone in. So here I need to add, I'm definitely going to add these magnolia leaves. I'm going to put some more gold accents in it. So these magnolia leaves are going to be in this wreath for sure. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of prop that up that way so you guys can see more of it. And these magnolia leaves came on a pick at Michael's. There's 3 leaves per pick. So you know you've only got 3 options, but they're definitely not staying on like this. So I'm going to kind of tug on them a little bit just to get them away from the stem. You see how I did that there? So I took it and I kind of pulled it down so I exposed that wire there, and that's where I'm clipping it. That's where I'm going to clip all of it. So the magnolia leaf needs to be pulled, just needs a little bit of help with your pliers. So I kind of grab it at the base and pull away just a little bit. And that's where you're clipping it. And I use these already in that Joy to the World wreath, so I'm already familiar with, you kind of need to mess with it just a little bit. Pull it away from the stem and then clip it. There's a good little tool. Don't throw those away, guys. Here's your leaf. Your leaf is a little flat. It doesn't look nice. I mean, it's pretty on its own. That's how it's supposed to look, but it's a little flat. So you need to kind of give it a little bit of life. So just pinch it and kind of curl it. And then you can curl it in a little bit. I like to do sort of a little bit like this, kind of bending it. So now you're giving it more of like almost an S look on that wire back there. And that's going to make it look more... obviously, this is not real. You can't get a gold magnolia tree in real life, because if we could, then, well, money wouldn't really be an option, right? So you want kind of the same look for a leaf to kind of be a little bit S-shaped. It gives it a little bit more of a natural look. So you're just going to bend every single one of these guys. And the same thing, now I'm going to nestle them. I'm going to nestle them in here and there into the wreath like I did all of that greenery we put on at the beginning. So I know for sure I'm going to be at least using 6 of them, but with the gold antlers, I want to make sure that I'm not actually, covering up the antlers too much. The antlers and the ribbon was my main event, and I want to keep it that way for sure. I don't want to lose that. So what I'm going to do is just kind of bend these all a little bit. Get those, you know, a little bit of S shape to them. Put your thumb in the back, your hand and the finger in the front, thumb in the back, kind of twist it a little bit on each one. Just get that little bit of bend in it. Every single one looks different. You could bend them way too much. You get it in there, you just bend it back up. No problem. So I got 6 leaves here. Let's see if we need maybe 8 or 9. I'm going to face it towards me just a little bit here, just so I can get an idea and see where I want to place these guys. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. Let's see here. I'm just used to working with you guys with my camera on this side. So that might be something I need to change. So just going to place these here and there. And actually I like that one there. So again, pick your point, your placement point. I'm going to dip it in my glue skillet over here, twist it off, get a good amount of glue on that. I put it in little circles and then nestle that right back into where you had it. I think that's actually perfect where it is. So I'm going to do the same thing pretty much all over. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to need more than 6 because I'm really, really liking what it's adding to it. I feel like it needs more blue, because this isn't really looking as blue as I thought it would, but I'll show you guys in like 1 second. Let me just get these gold guys on there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You let me know. I think it needs more blue, but at least like a darker, deeper blue, but we'll see what, you guys tell me what you think. Let's see. Bonnie, hubby loves this. He's a deer hunter. Perfect. So antler theme is a good, a deer theme is a good pick in your household. You've seen those chandeliers that people have made and all kinds of other stuff. These things look great in centerpieces. Also, these deer antlers, they look absolutely amazing in centerpieces. Even if you just kind of lay them onto the table and then place greenery around them. They also are amazing at Thanksgiving. It's not just a Christmas thing or any kind of winter theme. Also year round, if you have a cabin, and you're like a woodsy kind of person with a cabin, I had a friend that had a cabin up in Big Bear, California, and now granted they went with the bear theme, obviously Big Bear, but there was some winter themed goodies in there and some antlers. It looked really pretty. Any of that would work really well. So I put 6 leaves in here. If you guys can kind of see, the magnolias are popping out, you know, right here and here. I think I need more. I'm going to put 3 more in it. So I used 3 picks. 3 picks with 3 leaves each, so we're working with 9 magnolia leaves. And Michael's, when I bought these gold antlers, Michael's had 3 colors. They had silver, gold, and natural. And I really thought that their gold ones looked better than the natural. The natural color to me didn't, it looked a little bit too plastic. So I said, okay, well, I'm just going to play it safe and I'll go with something that's just crazy unnatural. And I picked the gold ones because I figured the gold would give it, the gold would pop, especially since it's going in an evergreen wreath with more greenery behind it. The gold would give it it would be able to be seen better from being nestled inside of all the colors and those goodies. Oh yeah. Nancy, do you know that I completely forgot about the blue flowers I have sitting over there? So yes, thank you so much for telling me I had the flowers. They're kind of sitting behind my tablet, so I completely forgot I had those flowers. Oh, it's one of those days, guys. I had coffee, but you'd think it, yeah. I had my coffee, which I am not really a big coffee drinker, but apparently within the last, I don't know, 6 months, coffee has become my friend. And also because Dunkin' Donuts is now out on the West Coast. Look at these. I have to share this to you guys. Look how cute their cups are. Just so Christmassy. It's all about packaging, right? Check out a little candy cane. Oh, I love it. They're so cute. That's about it. I mean, my husband was born in Texas, but then lived in Louisiana, and he lived in Boston, Massachusetts. He lived in San Diego. He's lived all over. His dad is a retired Navy pilot. So my husband has lived all over. And when he lived on the East Coast, he was a young kid. And let's see. Oh, Debbie. Oh, congrats. Debbie, you got a new grandbaby. Awesome. And her name is Magnolia. That's so perfect. Hobby Lobby has a beautiful, just artificial magnolia bush. And I'm going to do something for the new year that's just basically like a winter themed. And I'm going to have some magnolia leaves in it. So stay tuned for that. That would be beautiful for her room or something for the grandbaby. That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. Love the gold. Perfect. Thank you, Debbie. And Donna, you're so nice. Donna, you're just great. I love you. All right, so I think I got a good amount of magnolia leaves in here. So there's 9 magnolia leaves in here, you guys. And then I need to ask you guys' opinion on one other accent, and it's gold. So I want to put my flowers in first, and I'm going to ask you guys' opinion on how we feel about... Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to move this bow in. I don't like that it's up top here. When I'm hanging this up on the wall, this bow kind of faces up this way. So remember I told you guys I don't fasten it on permanently on the back for this exact reason. I'm going to take the bow off and I'm going to move it down onto the second rail. So this is where my opportunity might rise to moving this one antler or bending it a little bit further forward. So all I did was I'm going to leave it in the same placement, but instead of being on the back rail of this wreath, I'm moving it to the front rail. So that way this maybe faces down a little bit more and I can put some more greenery on it. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to kind of situate this. Previously I had it up here on this rail. So now I'm putting it underneath here on this rail. And all I'm doing is moving the bow down closer to basically your line of sight when you're looking at it on a door. Unless you're 7 feet tall. you don't really get to admire that bow in its perfect spot. So again, I'm going to leave that there and I'll finish that off later. But I think I want to do is bring this down a little bit closer to the front of the wreath. And the antler's still sticking out a perfect, yeah, we're doing just A-okay, you guys. I definitely like that a little bit better. So the bow is now further into the piece, further down to where your field of view is going to be. Sometimes it's harder working on your wreath if you're just, you know, having it lay flat. So every once in a while you can kind of always just, you know, pretend you're going to place it on the wall. Now let me show you guys this way. You can kind of pretend you're going to place it on the wall and see exactly how you want things to maybe to be situated a different way. I'm going to hang mine a little bit more like this, so my bow's off to the right, and then this little accent's down here. So you've got your antlers. Do you want your antler to stick out more? Like this guy here, I could probably bend it a little bit more. And you can always make your final adjustments different ways. So that's definitely where I'm glad I moved that bow. Because now I'm going for my flowers, and I don't know that once I do that... Oh, that's right, and I've got berries too. I forgot about the berries, you guys. We're going to have a lot of stuff put into this wreath. I hope it's not too much. And again, I'm not really concerned if it is. I got these guys pretty cheap. They're normally $8 flowers. I got them for $3.19. But I'll tell you right now, they still have these at Michael's when I was there yesterday, and they're 70% off. So you can get even a better deal than I got. So I'm saving, I'm going to save these leaves. Because these are the kind of things that you can put on the back of your project to hide all that stuff on the back. I'm just going to cut these bows off. Maybe I'll do a little bit longer just in case I need it. Cutting those. Save these, you guys. They come in handy for all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to cut all my flowers up first because I only have 3. And I'm going to get those situated to where I know the 3 flowers are going to look good, and then I'll glue them in. Okay, I won. I have a bucket down there that I save. I got a trash bucket, and then I got a bucket to save everything else. Now this magnolia, this one is a blue magnolia. These leaves are oh, they're pretty. They're a very velvety type of leaf. You guys can see that? And they're bright green. They're very pretty, so yeah. These are definitely getting saved. There are all kinds of projects. You can place this into another wreath. Remember I said if you don't have extra greenery, if you save all these leaves, you can use these, and even, I mean, I could even just stick these periodically into the project itself. And that lends more more texture, more greenery that you wanted to just add a little bit of variety to. So let me get this bag off of the flower here. And the flower might need a little bit of fluffing itself. Each petal seems to be wired. Yeah, every petal has a wire in it, you guys. That's a pretty nice little feature on these kind of, well, I guess so if you're paying a certain amount for that. Do you see how beautiful that is? And it's got gold on the edge of all of that. That's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. So I'm just cutting off all these little extra pieces that those stems were on. And now this looks like a pretty thick, that's a really thick, hefty stem, you guys. Let me see how I can work through this. Because these are the biggest wire cutters I have. I might have to go get the hubs. Alright, I got through that, so I'm going to turn it this way now. Remember, this is where I said before I had carpal tunnel. And I've already been cutting on this thing for a while. Alright, I won, you guys. It wasn't that bad. So I just kind of kept turning and rotating it as I twisted it. But I mean, look how, I don't know if that's even going to come through on camera. That's a pretty thick wire, guys. That's pretty hefty, heavy duty. But this flower is so pretty. That's so pretty. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm getting excited. And when I get excited, I start almost yelling. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, Donna, you like the bow movement. Perfect. So, and Sally, yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I moved it. I'm glad I moved it. Thank you, guys. I like that extra, you know, added confirmation. Debbie, yes. Debbie, you're right. Everybody is so sweet. Every time I've had a live, you guys are awesome. You guys are just awesome, and you guys know each other. It makes me so happy. And yes, these are the nicer flowers, but again, I didn't buy them full price. So unless they were on sale, I don't usually get them. Something has to be like a major special occasion if I'm going to buy them full price. And that usually means I'm making something for a family member or a special occasion or someone I know that's getting married or having a baby. That's when you put a little bit extra, you know, sometimes if I'm not able to actually get a gift for you, but I can make something that you will absolutely love, that's when you lose, you know, God gave me this talent, so I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it as a gift for the people I love. And basically, I like sharing it with all of you. So now I get to share that with all of you. But the full price stuff, if it's absolutely what you want and it's making your project just pop or it's the perfect piece, just get it. You know, $8 for a flower might be a lot, but if it's for that one little, special moment that is only going to be special once, or it's just like your only time you're going to be able to do X, Y, or Z, just do it. Because there's been times that I've said, you know what, I should have bought X, Y, or Z for my project, and I went back to get it, and it was gone. Or they had a sale, and I didn't know about it, and everybody else bought them. So it's like, and a lot of times, I'm not sure if you guys can tell me, have you come across any time where the craft stores will price match? Or if they'll come back and give you, I don't know if they'll actually do that or not. I have to take a peek. And this stem is actually really, really beefy on this magnolia guy. So I'm going to leave the magnolia on her own. And then I think I'll put these two guys on the other side together. Because this magnolia is just gorgeous by itself. So I'm going to leave this one on its own. And so far all I've done is I've just nestled her down into that. And it says, girl, I never pay full price. I'm just too cheap. Hey, I am a very frugal purchaser myself. That's why I say if you got an app, you got a coupon, you got an ad, there's something. But every once in a while, there's that thing where I just know they're going to sell out of them because they're awesome. And if I can't get there when it's on sale, then that's just part of it. So hopefully I can get it. And then you can't do that dishonest thing where you try to return it and then immediately buy it. It's bad. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. It's not good. Alright, so I got caught fluffing my bow. I shouldn't be doing that right now. So here I'm just placing the magnolia. You guys see here the magnolia kind of is, it's just, I don't know if I want it popping out that far. I might have to nestle it farther down in there. I can move this guy up a little bit more. So that's the best part, that I didn't glue it in. I can still bend it to give it some more depth, and I think I might have to do that. So I'm going to try to bend this further up. I can actually push it in further to the zip tie. No, it's zip tied pretty good in there. Let me just kind of jab it in there a little bit higher. All right, that worked out good. I don't know if you guys seen. I took my antler and I kind of pushed it in further so it's going up this way into my zip ties more. So then now it's sticking up more, and I'm going to take my magnolia and I'm going to bend that wire a little bit more. Actually, I don't think there's wire in this portion. Actually, you know what, guys? There's no wire. I must have cut all the rest of the wire. Let me see. Nope, there's no wire. All right, so I'm going to have to use the natural curve here and nestle this in between all these goodies I already have in here, which would be the other gold magnolia leaves, the greenery, the evergreen, and these eucalyptus leaves. So I'm using all that to hold that there. Okay, yeah, that's beautiful. I'm actually probably going to cut another magnolia leaf off of those other stems I have, and I'm going to place it right here on the back of this. It's going to look great. Okay, I'm in love with this, so you guys, I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue up the end of this pretty well. So I'm just going to scrape up a bunch of glue on the back of my stem in my glue pot here. And then once I get it placed in there, I'll show you guys exactly how. I got a good amount of glue on there, if you can see that. I'm going to put that right back in where I had it. And I've got these guys here. This is popping out from here. All right, guys. I'm getting happier with this blue flower. I was concerned before I didn't have enough blue. And thank you for reminding me I bought flowers. A little forgetful. I think I'm getting excited. I just talk with you guys and I get excited and then I forget I bought stuff. So here's one more magnolia leaf. Remember, I bought a large amount of those, so This I'm not going to bend too much because I want it to kind of pop off of the back of this here. So separate, different pick. This is a stem, but I'm going to glue this to the side of this magnolia flower. And it's going to really make the gold edges on this guy pop. So it's going to be perfect. It's going to look awesome. I'm going to hold it there for a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the front so I can glue it to the flower here. And that's how I'm going to get it to stick. Now it's a little bit too hot to touch, so I'm going to put my scissors in here and I'm just going to hold the petal to the front of, to the front of the leaf where I put some glue. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Some glue on me there. All right, so you guys, here's where I'm working with here. So there's my magnolia flower. There's the leaf I added to it. And I think the other two flowers I'm going to probably place over here. I got an antler here and an antler here. More leaves. And put those over here on this side. Okay, drop this guy here. So I've got these two flowers. And I don't want to cover up too much of the antler I have here. So maybe I'm not going to put them right next to each other as much as I want to. But I feel like they need to go next to each other. So let me see. Maybe I can bend this antler in more. Okay, so I'm going to hold out here and I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to bend this antler in. Yes. Yeah, that worked out perfectly. So this antler, I took this wire and I really bent it inward. So this antler is now sticking into the middle of the wreath. And I might take one and kind of bend it a little bit out to try to make it somewhat a little symmetrical. So it kind of looks a little like I still went with that counterclockwise pattern. So here's where I'm just going to nestle these flowers down in. And then make sure that I have enough room. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. What do you guys think? You can still see the antler popping out here on this. It's coming into the wreath now this way. Let's see if I can move out this shot a little bit. So the wreath is going to hang this way. I'm not sure that that's popping through as much as I would. These blues are looking amazing. And I just don't know if you guys can see as far as the color on through the video or if my lights is drowning it out, but this is looking so amazing. Very happy with it. So same thing, I'm happy with my placement. I'm going to glue up the whole back edge of this flower. Got a good amount of glue in there and I'm just going to slide it right back into where I had it. There. And then this guy wasn't too far behind here. Okay, so I'm going to cut this stem a little bit shorter because I don't need it to go really far deep. I don't want it to stick through the back of the wreath either. I just kind of want it to, I want to give it some guidance through with the rest of the wreath, but I want it to sort of, yeah, it's going to stay towards the top of everything. So I'm basically gluing it onto the top of the evergreen and then these little eucalyptus bushes. There's already, it's got a lot of support to hold on to, so I just shortened the stem and I'm going to slide it down on top of all the existing branches and goodies that we've already placed in. So the greenery, well, there's no gold magnolia here because those are accent pieces. The greenery, these eucalyptus branches, it's holding on to a lot, and then my antlers still poking out on this side here. Okay. So far, we got the flowers, we got the antlers, we got more greenery. This is what I'm working with. I'm going to hang it this way so you can kind of see all the stuff, all the goodies we're working with here. Will be up on the wall. I'm going to put these berries in. So, I mean, I really wanted blueberries and I could not find any. And so, okay, good, gorgeous. Nancy, yes, love it. And Anne, you just got an alert from Michael's app that they extended the 20% off your entire purchase, including sale items, through today. That's awesome because I was there searching for stuff because I didn't want to have to worry about it not working because sometimes they don't do that stuff. So I bought everything I could yesterday, which is why I bought a whole nother tree. I bought another tree and a little bit of bulbs, and I got some of these extra eucalyptus stems there last night for 70% off. And I got an additional 20% off of my total purchase at the register. So that's pretty awesome, you guys. Run over to Michael's. You might be able to pull in some more of these little accents. Oh, I just lost the berry. No problems. I will glue him back on, possibly. We'll see if sometimes you got to be delicate with these little things. These little styrofoam things kind of pop off really easily. Looks like I already lost one on the other side. So let's see if we can glue that back on there. Let's put a little bit of glue there. And pop that styrofoam piece right back in there. Yeah, okay. I glued it back on. No harm, no foul. This bush is built a little bit different. I'm definitely going to use this, so I'll cut off this stem and I'll show you guys. This bush seems to be like it works in a... Hold on, nope, I don't want to cut that one off. Let's go with a different one. This bush looks like it works like in groupings. Like here's one stem that I pulled off of that bush, but within that stem it's connected together here. So I cut this piece off, and then I have to cut it again right here to get that piece to separate. I'm gonna cut all these little extra pieces off. So now I can get that one piece to separate into three. Do you see that now? Because before they had them all solidly connected together. So now I can actually take this and put little tiny berry accents all over. And here's more leaves. Don't throw those out. Keep those. I got glue on my nails, you guys. And then let me just place a couple here and there and see. I'm going to first put some right here between the two flowers. Yes, I love that. This is where it starts to get really easy for me, because once I get all my main pieces in, and at that point it's just you're nestling accents here and there, it gets really easy to where I don't actually have to really concentrate on placing things first before I glue them. It becomes like it gets so fast. Even though I know sometimes this stuff is not fast. I know you guys, these videos can be a couple hours long at most, but I got a lot of people that, especially like beginner crafters, that appreciate and really like the length that I put into them sometimes. So you guys are what keeps me going as far as the length is concerned. But once I get to a specific point, you'll notice that I'll start speeding up because it gets so easy that things just start to flow together. I got so much stuff in here that it's almost like the finishing touches really come quickly, and then I'm surprised by how fast some of these things come together. Got another styrofoam ball that came off. The styrofoam comes off, I just kind of clip. See how I'm missing the little styrofoam ball at the end of those two? They're not going to come together. They're probably somewhere in the store. One rolled across here somewhere, but I'm not going to put that back on. I'm just going to cut these plastic pieces off. No need to see how much has fallen off of it. Just kind of make it look like it was, you know, like little twigs and berries that come off in nature. Even though, again, this is an artificial project, but we don't want real stuff because it'll die. We want to be able to come back to this year after year. So these little accent berries are looking really good. And then the last thing I needed to ask you guys about was there's another gold accent that I have. It's these little leaf things. These are the ones I told you I got at Hobby Lobby. And I can separate these into, there's a little sticks. And I can separate these into like 4 little pieces that I thought I could maybe place into this project as well. But I'm honestly thinking that I think the gold magnolias and the gold antlers are good on their own. I think if I put that in, it might be too much. I'm going to finish with these berries and ask you guys your opinion, and you can tell me what you think. Because I think I might have, I think I might just be completed, and we don't really need, we're not going to need to worry about it. But let me ask you guys what you think in about 5 seconds. I'm just going to cut some more berries and then keep littering these out throughout the whole wreath here. I'm liking the way they're sticking out in places. It's looking amazing. Got a little bit of a hole right here. I'm going to have to fill this with something. I might need to get some more greenery off that greenery bush. Yeah, this is coming together so fast with these berries. I think I'm placing them in faster than I can actually cut them off of the bush. Yes. Okay. Very happy, you guys. I think one more little stem on here. So this bush has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It had 7 options on this bush, and I've used 1, 2. I've used 2, so I'm only going to be using like 3 sections off of this bush. And it's looking amazing. I'm really happy. I was a little concerned in the beginning, you guys, that it wasn't going to look right. I was a little concerned about the blue, the missing blue. I thought maybe but my idea for this bow turned out a little bit different than I thought. It's maybe because I put all of the blue towards the back of the bow. So I might go in and put maybe just like one more loop of blue and kind of nestle it up top here. And that's kind of like just a little bit of bow surgery. It's really similar to the way we did the 1 loop bow at the bottom, but I'm just going to make a loop and tie the end with a little bit of wire or pipe cleaner, and then I'm going to glue the ends of it and nestle it here right in the middle, because I also need to add some leaves and some greenery into this bow. You guys know I love placing extra little picks and added things into my bows. I don't ever want my bow to just be a plain bow. It has to have some extra goodies, and then it makes me happy. That's just how I do with that's just what I do with my bows. I am definitely notorious for never leaving a bow alone. But maybe that's not a bad thing, right, you guys? If I have to be known for something, it's for not leaving a bow alone. Just don't call me late for supper, right? I'm getting cheesy, you guys, with this. Andrea, the berries finish it nicely. Yes, it really does. I'm glad Nancy brought it up that I even had the Nancy's the one that said, "Hey Whitney, you still have the blue flowers." I'm like, oh, completely forgot about those, you guys. I put them behind. Completely forgot about them. So let me see. I can probably place this guy right here. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna hold this up too and show you guys. I need to put the pine cone in over here. So you see these cream berries have really kind of finished it off. Have really added to the actual project with the eucalyptus leaves. It's looking really, really nice. The antler here, I'm glad I bent that in so you can still see it coming on this side. This one I might bend up some more. I bent this one out. This one I'm going to leave as is, but that one I'm going to probably bend out a little bit more. I need to add my pine cone over here. So I'm going to place that pine cone right in there like that, and then I can put some leaves on it. I'm literally going to dip the end of my pine cone in the glue, just the whole base of it, and get it all glued up. All right. And I'm going to nestle that right down into the project. It's touching the wreath, it's touching the greenery, and it's touching my bow. So it is secured to many different pieces of this project here. And it's not going anywhere. So I'm just messing with a little bit of this, the tails on this here. We got the pine cones sticking out there. Let's see. I got a few extra pieces that have fallen off of the project. I might nestle that guy right in there like that. Yes, I will. Cut that off. Just get a little bit of that on there. And then I separate my bow loops. Ooh, that's a little bit too much glue. separate my bow loops, and I'm going to place it right down in the middle of that bow right there. There, and it does that. I don't know if you guys can hear my husband right now. He's playing a video game. It sounds like they're doing a lot in there because his computer room is right across the hall from my craft room. So if you hear a little bit of animated voice, that's my husband. He's a little excited about his game. He gets excited about his games as much as I get excited about my crafts, you guys. So let's see, Michelle, you think it looks beautiful. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your opinions. And a lot of times you guys give me so many different tips and tricks that I would have never thought of on my own. So, you know, it goes both ways. I love the fact that I can share with you guys and that you guys share with me. It really makes a difference, and it makes things super enjoyable, super fun. You know, this stuff didn't exist a few years ago, so if you started crafting, you were basically crafting on your own. And a lot of times, sometimes, you know, oop, that just landed right in my glue. A lot of times this stuff, you know, if you did classes and stuff like that, you couldn't just watch it from home or reference it later. All right, guys, I need to know what I should place in this bow here. I'm thinking it needs a little bit more, needs some blue. I'm gonna take, all right, I normally would say that I'm done with this, but I'm gonna add one little loop of this. And you guys tell me what you think. So this is what I'm gonna do to try to add, yeah. All I'm doing is I'm taking about, what is this? Maybe 4 inches of ribbon. Let me cut it and I'll tell you exactly how much I have. Here's this piece of ribbon, okay? I feel like I need some more blue in my bow. So this is, okay, I'm lying. It's not 4 inches of ribbon. It's about 10 inches. So I'm making about a 5-inch loop bow. This is about 10 inches of ribbon. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pinch it here on the end, okay? So this is basically essentially the loop portion of any bow that you're going to make, right? And let me grab, here's half of a pipe cleaner, okay? I take my pipe cleaner, bend it in half, cut it, right? So half of my pipe cleaner, and you wrap it around the end of your bow, or the end of your loop. So this is maybe a little bit of bow surgery. And this is where I'm just wrapping it around the front and the back. And now I'm going to twist and twist and twist. So just a little bit of bow surgery on this bow because it's in its place, it's permanent. I'm going to start gluing some leaves and berries and stuff into it. The bow is not going anywhere now. Okay? So now here I have a loop. I've wrapped it, the bottom of it, to get that little gathering with half of a pipe cleaner. Okay? I'm going to take this, and my idea is to nestle it into the already existing part of the bow that I want to add to. So here's what my bow looks like now. You can't really see the plaid portion here. You almost can't see some of this portion here, the blue with the burlap. It's just really small accents. I feel like I want more blue in my bow. So here I made just one little loop, and I'm going to nestle this guy right here in the middle like that. And you see how I'm just adding a little bit from this side here. Here's that portion of that bow. Here's the other portion of that bow down here. And then it's going to make it look like I just added that in. I'm going to nestle that down in there. I'm going to add some greenery around it. And you're never going to know that that wasn't originally part of your bow. So there's never really a way that you're going to... you can't mess it up is what I'm trying to say. If there's something about it that you absolutely don't like, now be careful gluing down onto your hand because I've definitely injured myself like this many times before, so just be careful, guys. But this isn't something I would dip into my glue skillet, just because I think that it would really get stuck. So I've got this thing covered in glue. I'm opening that piece back up, and I'm going to push it way down deep inside there. So it's glued to the tails. I'm gluing it to the other loops of the existing bow. And you can absolutely do this with any portion. You could just make a tail. And you could take the end piece that you haven't dovetailed and nestle that down in there and glue it in. And you can add to that bow if you're not happy with any portion of it. You've already finished the bow. Don't completely deconstruct it because we did a lot here holding these big pieces. And that was a lot of hand strength and a lot of work. So don't worry about it. So that's all I've done to add another loop into this bow. So here's where I'm going to take just maybe the top portion of another piece of one of these. So all I'm going to do is cut these off, and then I'll pull these pieces off here. And I'm going to add this into my bow as well. So this is where I'm going to dip it in and place it like that. See what I mean, you guys? I'm going to dip in the glue, this into the glue, and I'm going to nestle that right in the middle of that bow right there. And it's going to look like, you know, portions of your greenery of your project, or whatever pieces of, this case, the eucalyptus stems, looks like they're growing out through your bow like it naturally came that way. And again, we know that this is an artificial wreath. We know that this stuff doesn't really happen. But I love putting all these kinds of things into my bows and my projects. It just absolutely, I think it finishes the piece off. It makes me happy. It makes things look cohesive. I guess that's how I justify it. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it, guys. That's the best way I can think of to explain why I just like doing that so much. I really couldn't tell you. I'm going to put a couple berries in the middle of it. See if I can push this down in here like that. Yep. That's exactly how I'm going to do that, right down there like that. So add some glue to the end. And what do you guys think? I was going to leave, I'm going to go ahead and leave off the other gold accent from Hobby Lobby, those little, I don't know, they're not grape leaves. I don't know what kind of leaves they are, but I think that there's enough gold with the magnolia that I don't want to overdo it. You guys tell me what you think. All right, so I need to push this down a little bit further. Okay. Here we go, guys. So there's the bow. I added the leaves to it. I added this little berry in the middle of it here, and these leaves here. And then there's another leaf right up here. I glued that into the bow. It's a tiny little bit that adds just a little bit extra, and then it matches the rest of your wreath. So it makes everything kind of look like it was supposed to be that way. Looks a little cohesive. I love it. This is what we're working with the rest of it, with the antlers and the flowers. I'm going to cut the zip ties off the back, place some leaves over them. You got your antlers kind of sticking through. I might bend these up a little bit. So again, after this is over, guys, I'm probably going to do a little bit more adjustments on these guys. Ooh, almost dropped it. Do a little bit more adjusting on the antlers, and then just shoot hot glue all over the back of the zip ties. Cover them with some ribbon. That's it, you guys. What do you think? Should I add more or should I add less? Debbie, it's enchanted. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Illusion. Beautiful finish. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Beautiful. Perfect. You guys, thank you so much. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a little bit more, you know, just fluffing the bow. I'm going to place it on the wall. I'll get pictures up very shortly, very soon. And then you guys will be able to see the finished product. I'm going to list it on Etsy for sale. It might be too late in the season, and I completely understand that. So if you guys could share this or share the photos when I get them up, anything else like that, that really helps me. Go ahead and favorite my Etsy shop. Go over there if you guys would like, just to keep track of things. I'm trying to keep, you know, adding supplies to it. There is more Christmas planned. I wanted to do this door hanger. It would be probably maybe less than 30 minutes. I got this at Michael's also. This is going to be a quick bow and literally 1 or 2 pieces of greenery on it. This guy would turn out really well. These are 60% off right now at Michael's if they have any of this rustic theme stuff. I thought I could do that real quick at the end of the year. But then I've got some good stuff planned. I'm going to do an unboxing of my craft outlet order. That's got a lot of good Valentine's Day and St. Patty's Day. Those goodies are coming up. But then there's also going to be some natural wreaths, a lot of burlap, a lot of natural greens for the beginning of the year. Lots of stuff that's just kind of winter themed or winter inspired, because you don't really want to go with Valentine's or St. Patty's Day. I don't really decorate for Valentine's or St. Now I do at work on my desk. I'll do that at my desk at work because it's small. But I could put a wreath up for Valentine's Day. St. Patty's Day we don't do that much at all really, but it's fun to wear green. But I'm definitely going to do some projects that have those guys included in. So you guys will see a lot from me. I'll do the unboxing live maybe tomorrow. If for some reason I do it tonight, I'll try to send out a text live before I do the live so you guys can be with me while I'm doing the unboxing and just seeing it. I got mesh and ribbon and some cute stuff I like to show you. So if you're watching the playback, just know that it'll be a separate item listed on my Facebook page. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be on my Facebook page only. I don't really put the unboxings on YouTube. But if you guys ever still have any ideas, please send them through. I love that you guys are always engaging with me. It's so much fun. I love all your ideas. I like your compliments. I like constructive criticism. It's wonderful. So keep it up, and I'll keep it up too. Let me just check real quick before I go. Let's see. I just wanted to tell you I've made at least 10 of the yarn Christmas star ornaments you made me. I'm totally addicted. Perfect, Anne. That is so great. I know. They are very addictive because as soon as you watch them come to life, you're just wrapping yarn around cardboard, and all of a sudden you have this really cute thing. I completely got so happy that you did that, Anne. That's so great to hear. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Will you show us how you wrap presents? I can do that. I plan on wrapping some presents soon. I have to make sure that my sister doesn't watch this live because I have a couple of her presents I need to wrap. So I could do that. I could definitely show you guys while I'm wrapping presents. I have a huge present for my husband. I don't know how I'm going to wrap it, but I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it. And then Jazz says, gorgeous. Thank you, Jazz. I appreciate that. Donna, where do you work? I work my daily work, my 40-hour, not 9 to 5, it's 7 to 4. 5 days a week. I work for a huge insurance broker. So I do a lot of computer work. I'm a behind the scenes, like an operations person. So I do a lot of computer work at a desk in a cubicle with a lot of coworkers, and we all decorate our desks a lot. And we bring in a lot of stuff to make things festive and make it look cute in there. And the company's really open and lets us bring in all kinds of decorations and lights and things like that. So I put a picture on that you guys saw earlier in the year that I hung the witches' hats for Halloween all above our desks. That's on my Facebook page if you guys want to see that. So anything we can do to break up the, the cubicle wars is what we call it, I guess. It's just your day-to-day, everyday office stuff. They're really open to letting us do that. So that's where I do. I work for a massive insurance broker during the week. And then I come home and I create all this lovely stuff. This is where my heart is. Is with you guys and with this stuff. And then that's about it. So everybody else, thank you so much for watching and joining. I'll keep you posted on any other lives. I have a lot planned because Christmas is coming so close. So I'm going to start wrapping my presents soon. You guys will see another Probo video. That's a good idea. I have to make these lists so I don't forget them. So don't hesitate to send me pictures. You can post them to my Facebook page. You can post them onto the comments. Send me pictures of your stuff, you guys. Send me pictures. Put pictures of your Christmas tree or your mantles or your dining room tables, whatever you got. Share so we can all see them together as a community. It's always fun. So you'll see these things, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, take care.